Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrew. I'm here in my home in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. Um, yeah, I'm just setting up the Instagram right now. So hopefully y'all are doing well and that you've had a good week so far. I've had an okay week so far. The weather has been pretty kind of up and down here, and so I get headaches from when the pressure changes, and so I've been unfortunately had a lot of headaches the first part of the week. Not too bad, but still not ideal. And then I've been doing meetings, and what else have I been doing? I've been working on a couple different things. A lot of the stuff that I've been kind of working on is stuff for other people. So one of the things that we've been working on is I'm one of the founding members and on the planning committee of a group called Spark. And we've been working on our first in-person exhibition, and that's going to be happening at Touchstone this summer. So we're super excited about that. We've been working pretty diligently to get that up and going. The Instagram didn't go. Well, now it's on. So anyway, so we've been working for getting that ready, and it's been good. So it's one of the things that I don't know, like, how I should, I don't know. Anyway, so one of the things I've been working on is working with other people, and some of the folks are folks who haven't done any kind of exhibition work before or done any kind of organizing. And this is for another group too. And so it's been good to kind of work with them and see where they're coming from, because I've been kind of thinking about working on a resource guide for people who are looking to do projects the way that I do. Um, and this probably I'm still kind of in the early stages of this, but I get oftentimes asked how I do a lot of the stuff that I do. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is creating a resource guide so that other people can take that kind of infrastructure and make it their own and implement their own kind of grassroots based projects. So that's one of the little projects that I've been working on in the background. And I haven't really talked about it yet, except right now. But it is something that I've been taking down notes for. And it's something that I hope other people will take advantage of, because I do really think it's, especially in the times that we're in now, it's really impactful to have that kind of grassroots movement, because a lot of the superstructures that a lot of folks are relying on, they're just not there anymore. And whether that's government funding or nonprofits that have, historically been around, that are no longer able to do what they're able to do. So that's one of the little projects that I've been working on. I see a couple folks have commented, and one thing I will say is that William figured out how to turn off the share your referral link thing down below on my comments, on the comments on StreamYard, but I haven't figured out how to do that. So I have like this little tiny sliver to look through. Let's see who is watching. Susie, our neighbor, is watching. Oh, um, and then let's see. Michelle's watching. So they made it more complicated to do this. So every time I click, used to be when you click on a comment, it would just show up. Now a whole menu comes up, and that's, I just have to get used to it, I guess. Angela's watching. Hey, Angela. If I sound hesitant, it's because I don't want to accidentally delete out the conversation. Cheryl's watching. Hey, Cheryl. Did it do it? Oh, it did it. Oh, good. I liked your necklace that you made, Cheryl. That looked really good with the, with this, excuse me, with the spiral stitch and my little enamel pendant. So we've been busy working away. One of the other things that I've been doing is I've been getting ready for my trip to Penland, but also my trip to Sawtooth and my trip to the Metal Museum in Memphis. So those are almost all back to back, which is a little bit headache time, but in a good way. So there's just a lot of moving parts. So the thing about Penland is I'm leaving pretty soon for that, and I think a week, a week and a half or so, I'm off to Penland, and then directly after that, I have a couple of days in between. And so the question is, do I drive back and pick up William, and then we drive down together and go to Sawtooth? And I've been talking with my friend Cheryl Ann. She lives pretty much, you can see her apartment from the school. And so I was thinking about staying with her. So I've been talking with her. And she's working on some really cool projects. She has a company called Venus Vens, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, her name is Cheryl Ann Lipstrew, and she was on Skin Wars. She is a competition body painter, and has traveled all over the world to do body painting. But she also has a company called Venus Vens where they take vending machines, and they make them sculptural, which is pretty cool. And she installed a project while I was down at Sawtooth the last time. They've recently taken that out and they're looking for another venue to put that up. But it's a really cool uh, uh, mythology based one with like a Medusa and an Athena. It's really cool. And I think I showed pictures before of it. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I'll try to post some pictures of that. But she's looking for another venue to place that, preferably within, driving distance of her, because they also restock the vending machines, which I think is really cool. I talked to her a little bit about that. And it's cool because they can choose like customize things for different spaces. So, for example, if it's in an area for like holistic health, they can choose more healthy options. Um, and then, of course, if they are in an area that, they can put all kinds of stuff in it. So I think it's really interesting to hear the behind the scenes about that. And so if you're interested in that, get in contact with her, if you know of a place where that could go, because I think that could be a really great artistic kind of way of, I think about things like how do you make your life a little bit more artistic every day? Um, and even from the simplest transactions, like going to a vending machine. And I think that's a one way that can be that she's kind of pioneered, and I think that could be a really awesome thing for a way of adding creativity to your life every day. If you didn't know, Winston-Salem is the kind of birthplace of the Artomat machines, and the original founder of that um, bought up all these old cigarette dispensers that were kind of getting decommissioned as smoking has become less kind of popular. And so what he did is he uh, turn them into vending machines for art. So you get like a token, and then you put it in the vending machine, and then you get a little piece of art. And it's kind of like those gumball machines where you don't really know what you're going to get, but you kind of know which artist you're going to get. And we've gotten some really cute things out of them, and usually it's like $5. But that was originally started in Winston-Salem, and they're all over Winston-Salem. And so, I think it's a really clever thing. They're also all over the country. I don't know if they're all over the world, but I do know that the owner of that has really done a great job about being mindful about where to put them. And so it's really cool. It's a really cool project. So I hope Cheryl Ann is really successful in getting more locations. Her current Venus Vens vending machine is at the Blender community space. And I went to the community space and checked it out. And if you're in that area, you have a really great resource because they have, I think it's really affordably priced, but they have studio space where you can do silk screen printing, you can do laser, CNC, there's all kinds. They have a metal shop, it's got all kinds of things in there. So I think it's really affordably priced. And if you're in that area, you should definitely take advantage of it. Now, one thing that I will say also is that we had a cancellation in my sawtooth class, so there are 2 spots left in that class before it's sold out. I dearly hope that sells out, and the reason why I hope it sells out is because it's one of those things like it shows that people want to take the class, and that it's worth putting the extra money to getting me from Pennsylvania to come down to North Carolina. It's a little bit more for them to do that than if I'm a local teacher. So that's definitely something that I hope it does well and it sells out because I'd like to be asked back. It's a really great studio. My friend Andrea, who is Warrior Mouse Smith on Instagram, she's the one who originally got me that job. And I feel really lucky and honored to be able to teach there. There are some incredible teachers who have been through there. Betty Helen Longy was, for the longest time, one of their metals teachers there. So to be in a space that she was in, she's still alive, but she's she can't communicate. She's had some memory issues and is no longer able to communicate. But just knowing that she taught there and that I'm teaching there now, and we're using the same, not all the same tools, but we're using the same tools. I think it's a really wonderful kind of legacy, and I'm happy to be a part of that. So it makes me feel like warm and fuzzy in my heart muscle. So yeah. All right, let's see who else is on. I may not put everybody's comments up because it is a little bit tricksy. Lennis is watching. Hey, Lennis. I'll test it. Show on stage. Here. There you go. Whoop. Oh, once it's on stage, you can't move it. Michelle's watching. Hey, Michelle. Show on stage. Okay. They're getting so high tech. Grandpa Andrew can't figure stuff out. Cheryl says, "Oh, thank you. I gifted the necklace to my local mom friend. I babysit her cat when she goes out of town. She really loved it." Oh, wonderful. I think you did such a wonderful job with the colors and your selection of beads. It has like this really dreamy, kind of mysterious quality. And I like the beads that you paired also with it in the back. That also look really good. Anna's watching. Howdy, Anna. Let's see. Show on stage. Howdy. Let's see who else is watching. Dale's watching. Howdy, Dale. Show on stage. This is one of those things where, like, when the actors, did you ever watch a show when the other actor starts moving their mouth to the other person's lines because they're like, they're remembering their lines, and they're like, stop it. And that's kind of like this. It's like show on stage. These are like the directions and prompts that I'm getting. So I hope y'all like that flavor. Anyway, so we've got 2 more spots in the Winston-Salem class. We're going to be doing a lot of the foundations of powder coating. And I was really lucky to take workshops with some incredible artists. One of the artists that I was able to work with is Courtney Powell. I learned powder coating from her, and she teaches electrostatic powder coating, which is a way different process. And it's really great if you have a lot of work to do at once. That electrostatic powder coating is what most kind of like industrial processes use. So a lot of like auto body people, they use powder coating, and they use that electrostatic process in their work. And for me, I got it, all this stuff, and I still have all this stuff. And if I start going into wholesale, here's another thing welcome to the tangent show. We're just going to go all the different tangents. So one of the things that we've been talking about is, as many of you know, William's job burned down, not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. And so what happened with that is that overnight we lost a third of our income. And so for a while he tried to find a replacement job, but because of his commitments to the Allegory Gallery, and all the stuff that he has to do with that, and we lost our shipper. She ended up retiring and moving to Florida to be closer to her grandkid. So we don't have as much help as we did before, and so he's been taking on a lot of the extra work, and so it really didn't make sense for him to get a job that it would be, basically have to close the store for him to get a job that he could get a good salary at, but also it's just one of those things that we had to go back and forth about what to do. So what we decided would be to really put all of our effort into Allegory Gallery, and to supplement the loss of his income that was coming in. I've been teaching more and trying to set up more teaching. And also we've been talking about doing a finish line of jewelry. So the finish line of jewelry, when I first started coming up in the world, I used to have 3 different jobs, but 3 different jobs usually at one time while I was working my way through college. And so one of the jobs, which it was a fun job for the most part, but it was also one of those jobs which was not, when it wasn't fun, it really wasn't fun. So one of the jobs I had was being a bar back in this Irish bar in the Lower East Side. And so like part of my job was like collecting glasses and washing glasses and cleaning up puke and cleaning up broken glass, and um, shaking out and dusting out the rugs and stuff like that. And so I like being around the people there, but because some of my friends were the bartenders, and so we had a good rapport. But the problem was is that I wouldn't get out of work until probably like 6 in the morning, and then I had classes usually at 9 or 10. So it was not ideal. And so one of the ways that I got around from working that job was I started making earrings. And there was this little park in Soho, and I would take my little blanket and I would set up out there, and there was a bunch of us, and you could sell earrings. And what happened was, in the hour or so that I would be set up, I would make as much as I would make in a night. And so, and sometimes more, a lot of times more, and which allowed me to get more supplies. And I used to go to the Bead district and find things there. And I used to go to the different thrift stores, and I would buy broken jewelry. I had one contact at one of the thrift stores, and she'd always set aside the broken jewelry for me. So I would get really inexpensive things, which were really nice things, but were broken and they couldn't resell them without fixing them. And the way that happened, how that got started, was I was set up at outside the park, and she came by and she was buying stuff for herself, and she was like, well, I work at this thrift store and I have a bunch of jewelry, and some of it we would like to sell it. And so, because it was just taking up space. And so I ended up working for her to do repairs. And so I repaired some of it, but then some of it was too far gone, or they just didn't really think it was like their style. So she started setting stuff aside for me. So, anyways, that's one of the ways that I started to supplement my income when I was in college. And I actually, that's one of the ways that I learned how to really kind of hustle with the jewelry business. And that kind of fell by the wayside as we started the store and we moved to Pennsylvania. And when I met William, I was working for a restaurant. I worked for Tom Colicchio, who was or is, I don't know, I haven't seen it in a long time, but there's a show called Top Chef, and Tom Colicchio, who had Craft and Craft Bar and Witchcraft. I used to work for him. And when I met William, I was managing one of the restaurants there. So I really had no time to make anything. At all back then when we first met, hardly. Um, so, anyways, we've been talking about restarting my finished jewelry line and having a more consistent offering, and trying to go maybe the way of wholesale and getting it into like boutiques and stuff and galleries and different things like that. So that's one of the projects that we've been working on in the background. But yeah, I don't remember how we got onto that. Besides, I was talking about how there are 2 openings left at Sawtooth. Um, let's see who else is watching. I see a couple more. Comments. Jessica is on. Hello. Good to see you too. Which Jessica? Because it only says your first name. And I know a few different Jessicas. So anyway, so that's one of the things that we've been talking about to kind of supplement our income and keep things afloat and keep things going. So I've been teaching, I'm getting ready to go. So anyways, I'm going to be at Penland for a week, and then I have a couple days in between, but I don't know if I'm going to go back up to Pennsylvania or if I'm going to stay down there, because I have a couple different friends who are in that area that I can usually stay with, and that'll make my driving a lot less. I won't have to drive as much. But the downside of that is then that William can't go to Sawtooth, because then, well, I guess he could maybe. But anyways, so we're trying to figure out the logistics of that, because there you go, Jessica Hannah. Well, howdy. Hopefully you're doing well. So anyways, we've been talking about the logistics of that because right after I teach at Sawtooth, I have like a day to get to Memphis, and then I'm still trying to figure out housing in Memphis. So I don't know if I'm going to get an Airbnb or try to crash with somebody. I'm getting a little bit. They have they have camping on the grounds at the Metal Museum, the old location, because the new location is still being built. But I don't know if I'm sturdy enough in my heart for that. And also, I don't really have any camping stuff. So I have the minivan, and in theory, I could sleep in the back of the minivan. But I also like to shower, and it's hot and sweaty work, and we're going to be doing large scale pourings of molten metal, and I like to be fresh and not feel sticky or sweaty. You know, in some of these shows, they're all like making out and they're all like super sweaty and they done climb through the poop tunnel, and I'm like, no, no, that's not my flavor. But anyway, so yeah, that was all the long kind of tangents. So that's my couple weeks coming up for me, and so I won't be on the live as much as usual. One thing I will say is I'm going to try to do some lives from different parts of the trip. So do keep in contact with that. If nothing else, I'm going to be updating my Instagram with my travel kind of updates. So you'll be able to see me on the road on Instagram. Usually in my stories, I post stuff on my stories. So that's Andrew Thornton Artist, and that's THORNTON. And the reason why I emphasize the N in the middle is because people usually always forget that. And I don't see when it doesn't, I don't see that when people are like Andrew Thornton. It's thorn, like the thorn in your side. And I'm sure I'm somebody's thorn in their side. But anyways, don't worry about it. So that's something that I've been working on, getting ready for those classes. I'm also getting ready for that powder coating class and working on the syllabus and all of the written resources, and I've been slowly gathering the materials and getting them all packed up. So that is one of the things, because I want to make sure that if I don't come back to Pennsylvania, that I will have that, so that when I leave for North Carolina to go to Penland, if I don't come back to Pennsylvania, I will still have it. I'll have all my stuff so that I'm prepared. I don't like to be unprepared, and sometimes that leads me to overpacking. So I'm gonna just go through all the scenarios in my mind. The one nice thing is that Sawtooth um, is really well appointed for a studio. So they have a lot of the equipment and they have a lot of things. And they also bought a toaster oven because I started teaching powder coating there. So I'm super excited that I can kind of leave that legacy behind. Uh, I don't know if they actually did or not, but they said that they got a toaster oven. So in my mind, it's because of me, but probably not. But anyways, that should be a really fun class. I think Norma, I don't know if Norma's still planning to come. We did have one cancellation, but they didn't say who the cancellation was. But it should be a fun crew, and the AGB fam should be miniaturing. Some of us should be uniting. So hopefully we'll get together in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at Sawtooth. So 2 spots are open. I found out that I have one sign up. I think maybe one sign up in my powder coating class in New Jersey. at Peters Valley, usually they have a minimum of 4 students or they don't run the class. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I do know that a lot of the craft schools are having trouble with, with everything going on in the world right now. So I'm going to try to do a big push for the Peters Valley class. And I noticed that in my write-up, they didn't put any of the samples of the work. They just put pictures of me. And so I don't know if that's a problem on my end, because sometimes I forget stuff, or I think I'm putting stuff in that I don't, they use like Google Drive, and sometimes like I'm not the most computer literate, so that could totally 100% be my fault. If in any case, I'm gonna send them some new images, and hopefully that'll boost engagement for that, because I think it's a really cool class, and it's something that I'm really excited about, because it's something that I really enjoy, and I don't really see a ton of people doing it. The other person who taught me powder coating was Brie Flora, and so she does it kind of the way that I do it. And so I've taken these lessons that I've learned from Courtney and Brie and kind of made them my own, and taken about 20 years of experience with mixed media processes and incorporated that into my powder coating class. So that is what makes it different. If you do get a chance to take a class with either Courtney or Bree, I highly recommend it. They're both fabulous teachers. Bree, she has a little gallery in Tennessee called the Silver Fern Gallery. And if you're in Cooksville, you should definitely check it out, because it's a really great little art space. And it's also, they have like a holistic healing kind of section. And so you can get teas and muscle rub stuff and all kinds of stuff is really cool, and local arts and crafts. So check that out if you're in Tennessee, because it's a really cool space. And she and her business partner do a lot of really cool things there. So check that out. But anyway, so I learned from her, and I'm going to be teaching both of them, and I'm going to be teaching in Winston-Salem. So there's 2 spots available for that. And then also in August, I'm going to be teaching at Peters Valley, and I have lots of openings for that. And I definitely hope that those fill up, because otherwise they're going to cancel the class, and then that's sad times, because I rearranged my schedule so that I could teach at this place, and if not, I'm going to be a little bit bummed, because I had to do a lot of maneuvering, but that's all right. What will be will be, but I'm going to try 100% hard to get that so that it runs. I also like that I want to get into a regular kind of habit of teaching at the craft schools. And my friend Wyatt worked really hard to get me this position to teach at Peters Valley, and I want to do them proud. So if you are able to take a class, that's another thing. One of the other things that I've been talking about and kind of figuring out the logistics of is I've been invited to teach at a virtual classroom. And they are a classroom that goes all over the world. It's streamed all over the world, and they've been doing it for a while now. And that I'm not going to say who it is yet, because I haven't signed any contracts. But if you are interested in any techniques and want a more in-depth look at what I do, definitely let me know, because then I can pitch that as the class that I'm going to be teaching. Because right now they're like, oh, you can teach anything you want. And I'm like, well, I can teach a lot of stuff. So they're mostly interested in mixed media stuff, but we'll just see. So, anyways, that's kind of what I've been up to. What have y'all been up to? Have y'all been up to anything interesting, um, or not interesting? I don't know. Um, you tell me. All right. So, I think we'll go right into the project for tonight. There is one thing that I want to say about the project. Usually one of the wire gauges I use is a little bit thicker, but I couldn't find it here. So I must have taken it to the cottage or put it downstairs or something. So we're going to do the best we can, but normally I use a little bit thicker of a gauge wire for what we're doing today. All right, so I'm going to turn this around. And let me see. There's all kinds of stuff. Michelle says, on break from working on the apartment, saw my pain doctor today. Well, hopefully you got good news and everything's all right. We're not super high tech here at Allegory Gallery, especially not me. William's super high tech. We just don't have the budget for a bunch of the more fancy equipment. But if they do more digital virtual teaching, I think we're going to have to invest in some of that because, you know, I don't know how receptive they'll be to, oh, it did the mirroring. I don't know who wants that setting. It's like, does everybody want stuff be backwards? Is that like a thing that people like enjoy, things backwards? I don't. I think it's kind of a pain in the butt. Maybe that's like the output that's like the normal output. I don't know. I am gonna run and get stuff, but I'm gonna put this here so you have something to look at. I do have some brass wire that's 24 gauge, and then this is a wire that I was talking about. I usually like to use 18 gauge, but I only have 20 gauge today, so we're gonna use 20 gauge. Sorry about that. I went to go check and see if I could get if I had a mallet. And I don't. But anyways, we'll do what we can do. With what we've got. All right. So let's see who else we got. Routine checkup, Michelle says. All right. So I'm gonna move all this off. and then we'll get going. All right. So first thing, I've got this 20 gauge wire, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to snip. I have these really great, they're double flush cutters. These are from Xuron. I don't get a kickback from them. I wish I did, but I don't. And it makes the wire super flat at the end, so you don't have as much cleanup to do. And the more that I feel this wire, the more thin it is. So I'm going to do a little bit of a variation on what I was thinking about doing. All right, so I got this pour toner bottle. It can be anything, but whatever your choice of mandrel. And I'm just going to wrap this around a couple times, all right? And I'm going to take this and cut it. And even though I cut that at an angle, it did pretty good. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, this is 20 gauge wire, and I cut it off. And I've got this loop. All right. Next thing I'm going to do, see, I've got my bundle. I'm going to try to make my bundle as even as possible. Boy, I made that kind of big. That's all right. If you make it a little bit bigger than you'd like, that's all right too. Just pull these wires a little bit, and then you've got this little bundle, right? Okay, take your chain nose pliers and find about 1.5 inches or so of this, and then pull this directly straight up. All right. So circle, circle, pull that straight up, and then take this and wrap it around. I like to use my pliers because even though I use a double flush cutter, sometimes the ends of the wire can be sharp. And when the wire is sharp, then it can leave micro cuts on your fingertips. And then if you get little cuts, then when you go to cut the lime for your margarita, it's gonna burn like hellfire. So don't do that. All right. So before I get to the very end, what I like to do, boy, my cuticles are rough today, is I like to turn this inward. The very tip, I like to turn that inward like this. See that? So that when this coils in, it coils in like that. So I'm gonna go try to do a close up of that. And there you go. And it's nice and even. See how even that is? I don't know if you can see that or not. Sometimes if you don't turn that in, what can happen is it can curve, but it still sticks out, and then you always have this little pointy thing that cuts into your finger or whatever, cuts into your whatever, and then that's less than ideal, right? So I'm going to pull this straight up, and we're going to repeat. So I've got that coil, and I'm just going to take this, and sometimes it helps to have another set of pliers to set that in. But I like to use my pliers because it's a tool, and I like tools. But also, I don't like my fingers to get all cut up. And you may not see the cuts. That's the thing, is you may not see them, but then they can get infected, and then your fingers get all crusty and stuff, and then that's not fun, you know? You're gonna be wearing the silk blouse, and it's gonna get caught up on the silk blouse. All right, so I just repeated what I did in the first one. All right, so we've got this shape. Now this is dead soft copper wire. And we've got this shape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently bend this shape. Now you can make this is kind of like an egg shape right now. And I kind of like that egg shape, so I'm going to keep it. But if you wanted a perfect oval, then you can make this a little bit more pointy on this end. I've got my thicker end of the wire, thicker bundle down here. See how there's 3 wires here, and then there's only 2 here. Because of gravity and the weight of things, I like to put the thicker the thicker bottom at the bottom. The thicker, I don't know, the thicker part at the bottom, and the thinner part at the top, just because then it hangs a little bit nicely, and then you're not constantly getting it to turn. Because like sometimes if you put like the thicker at the top, unless you weight it just right, it can end up turning on you, and that's super duper 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 annoying. So just save yourself and do that. Now I notice this is a little bit out of whack, but that's all right. Um, Now, generally speaking, if I am in my regular studio at Star Cottage Studio, what I'll do is I'll take a mallet, a rawhide mallet that's been conditioned. And to condition a rawhide mallet, all you have to do is basically take it and rub it on concrete, go out on the sidewalk and rub it on the sidewalk. No, but yes, actually, it is basically that's what it is. But what happens is they take the coils of the rawhide and they put glue in between, and then they wrap it into kind of like a jelly roll, but tighter, and it makes the head of the hammer. But what ends up happening is the glue squeezes out, and it squeezes it out onto the end of the rawhide mallet. And so that glue can, when it dries, is super hard. And so you can ding up your metal super easy that way. So the thing is to do is grind off the end of that, and then you'll have a really supple, softer face of your hammer, or your mallet, and you won't ding up your metal as much. So, yeah. So do that if you want your hammer or your mallet not to ding up your metal. And then also, I take a wood block and I put this on the wood block and hit it. If I put it on steel, what's going to happen is that the steel is going to move this metal around and distort it. So steel on steel, and you'll flatten it out, and you'll be doing all kinds of things to it, and it will change the shape, and also it'll manipulate the metal. So I don't want that. I want this to be work hardened. So I'm going to take this on a wooden block and gently tap it with my rawhide mallet that's been conditioned. I'm going to go around and around, and then this is going to be a nice and sturdy shape so that it doesn't wiggle wobble everywhere. Just by doing the simple manipulations that I have been doing, it's getting pretty well work hardened, which is good. We want to make sure that it doesn't weeble wobble, because if this is super flexible, it will make it a kind of a headache to do, um, because it'll be dead soft, so it'll be kind of a headache to manipulate it. So just so you can keep that in mind, it's good to have this to be work hardened. All right. So we've got that brass wire. This is a 24 gauge brass wire. Angela says, I have never conditioned my mallet. Thank you. Yeah, it's something that I don't think a lot of people teach, but it's just one of those things. I worked with Andrea, um, who is one of the owners of NC Black, which is a hammer company based out of Mount Airy. And so she's one of the people who said it to do that. And, um, that's, if she says it, then that's pretty much gospel as far as hammers are concerned, because she makes hammers. So she knows exactly the process of how things work. So that, but I started doing that maybe, I don't know. It's been a while, but she confirmed it for sure. But one of the thing, I think maybe it was Tim McCrite, in his book, he may have mentioned it, or maybe it was Charles Lutenbrain. I can't remember. It's somebody who I read their book a lot, but um Anyway, so that's a good way of making it so that your mallet doesn't ding up your metal. Because I noticed, like when I was teaching virtually, and somebody was doing a project, and they said, "How do I get these dings out of my work?" And I was like, "Well, you do this, 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 and this." And I said, "Well, let me see your mallet." And they sent a picture of their mallet to me, and I said, "Well, here's your problem: is your mallet's not conditioned, so it's going to leave all those marks." But if you condition your hammer, then you don't have to get rid of the marks. So treat the source issue and not the symptoms, and then you'll not have to deal with the symptoms later on. And I think what it was is we were in class together, and they're when they used the mallets that had been conditioned, they weren't having any issues at all. And then when they went home, they were using a fresh mallet that they had bought, and it was giving them all kinds of dings up in their metal. And they're like, I'm doing the exact same thing that I did before, and I'm not getting the same results. So that's that. And so hopefully that helps. Let me know if you go ahead and do that. You just want it to get so that that glue on the end is no longer on the surface. So you just grind it down. It does take a little bit if you don't have like a sander or whatever, a sanding belt. If you just use the concrete, um, it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it because then you don't have to go and repair a lot of dings and dents in your metal. All right. So next thing I do is I'm going to cut off quite a bit of this 24 gauge brass wire. Um, I like to use brass wire for this because it is a little bit of a stiffer wire. So it does hold its shape just a wee bit more. But you can use almost anything. They do have craft wires, so if you have a mobility issue, I should mention this. So if you have like arthritis and you don't have um a full torque with your hands, and it's a little bit hurting time and a little bit painful, I get that. You can always make variations on this project so that you can be accommodated for that, so you don't have to worry about that. What I would recommend if you're having issues with mobility is use a craft wire. And craft wire is a base metal. Usually it's a type of like aluminum or something that has a softer core. And that makes it way easier to bend the wire. Because I know some folks they have issues with bending the wire and it kind of hurts. So don't hurt yourself. If it hurts, pretty much stop and let your hands rest and do all the things you need to do for self-care, because it's not worth it to end up hurting yourself. So if brass wire is too stiff for you, use the craft wire. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I've cut off about 14 inches, 16 inches around there. And I'm going to use my double flush cutters because I'm a smitten kitten with them. I'm going to put that off to the side. And I've got this. So this is the wire. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to find a really small thing because I'm going to be accommodating for this, and I'm going to bend this up like this. So I basically made this shape, and I gave myself about 2 inches, 3 inches. Um, you can trim that, so it doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here like so, put it in, and then hook it over the wire frame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pliers, and then I'm going to wrap it. Now, here's another tip for wire wrapping. Work from the very tip. If you work here, you have more chances of bending it up. So if you work at the tip, you're going to get smoother wraps. If you want like really chaotic, messy wraps, that's fine. But you want to secure this really good. So you want to make sure these are nice and tight, because if they are loosey-goosey style to begin with, it's going to wrap or come right off. And then you can bend that end and then tuck it in. That, I may have wrapped it a little bit too much, but that's all right, because I don't mind that. But if you want it to be, everything to be super even, then, you know, some people, they like everything to be super even. I don't really care if it's not. So I've got this shape, and then what I'm going to do is I've got this Radical Joy mix, and it's been sitting out. So I'm going to scoop down to the I'm going to take off some of these big beads, because the little beads kind of settle to the bottom. I'm going to set those off to the side, those bigger beads. And the little beads, they go down to the bottom. So that's what I want. I want them little seed beads. And I'm going to kind of turn this upward. Not too much, but not. What I'm doing is basically creating a needle that I can go and stick this through. And then I can kind of just dip it. Now, if you're not having success with dipping, you can also put your finger in like this. I mean, it depends how much moisture. If you have really dry hands, you may want to get the lotion out and grease up your fingers a little bit. And then they should stick. And then you can just go like this. And I do this over my container so that I don't end up spilling these all over the floor. We don't wear shoes in our house, so I don't like to have it be crunchy. And then I pull this like so. All right, and then I measure it. So this, I see I can do a little bit more. I can do maybe 2 or 3 more, depending on the beads I pick. Maybe 1 more if I pick something that's a little bit thicker or longer. And when I'm putting the beads on, I want to keep it slightly random so that I am not gonna, you know, I'm not working on a pattern. So there you go. But if you are, then you're not going to want it to be random. But I want it to be random. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this not tight, like a tight coil, but kind of like a loose wrap so that it goes further. Because if I get the beads, I don't want them to be right up against its neighbor. I want it to be kind of have a little bit of space. All right, so I've got this like so. And then I'm going to string. All right. You can use the bigger beads, but in the description I said we're going to be playing with seed beads, so that's what we're going to be doing on this. I'm going to put a blue one in there because I've been focusing mostly on these pinks and reds, and I think that blue will be nice. So are you all working on anything? Do you have any projects that you're working on? Anything interesting and fun? The reason why I picked this one for tonight is because it kind of looks like an Easter egg to me. I don't know if it looks like an Easter egg to you, but it kind of looks like an Easter egg to me. And whether or not you celebrate Easter, I think it's really festive. So I like eggs. I like those Pizanki eggs. I'm probably saying that wrong, but where they take the wax and then they dye it. It's like a Ukrainian or Slovakian or that kind of Eastern European thing. And so I'm holding it up and looking. Kimberly says, hello, everyone. Totally late. No, you're fine. Dale says, I'm back. Had to answer the phone. Well, welcome back. And welcome, Kimberly. And Jessica says, I've been working on a tubular herringbone necklace. Oh, good. If you saw the other night, I showed folks how to do tubular herringbone. Not necklace, but if folks are like, I don't know how to do that, that's how you do that. You can watch the replay on that. I like it. Tubular herringbone, I think, creates one of the more supple weaves for that kind of stuff. All right, I'm going to put one more of these. Just because I'm just learning and really enjoying it. Yeah, it's a really, I think it's kind of like like the potato chips. Once you have one, you want to eat another one. All right, so here we are. I've got it on this side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap again, and I'm making sure that this wire doesn't get all chewed up, because I have seen where people, they aren't really mindful of their wire at the end, and it gets all kinds of bent up, and then they have troubles in their life, and then that could have been resolved by not bending up the wire so much. Now, one thing I will do is down here, I am going to tug it a little bit, and then kind of cinch it just a wee bit, and that'll help it stick, kind of go into this like an abacus. And you can make this as tight as you want. So if this is too wide for y'all, like if that gap in between is too wide, you can take your pliers or your fingers and adjust these so that they're a little bit tighter and squeeze it like that. And you can adjust it like so. All right. And so that does look like an Easter egg. Yeah. See, I didn't make that up completely. But I thought that was fun, kind of festive. You know, seasonally appropriate. But the eggs is in all different kind of cultures. So if you want like the Ostara or Ostra or whatever you call it, they have eggs and stuff. Sometimes they're considered fertility symbols. Sometimes it's for good luck. So you have a bountiful harvest. You know. And I'm just going over there. And I see Nancy's over on Instagram. Hey, Nancy. And then I'm going to keep adding. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're just stringing it out. This goes by relatively quickly. It doesn't seem like it, but when I'm showing you, but generally speaking, if you're doing this on your own steam, it can go pretty quick. So you may actually already be done if you're following along and making it yourself. So if that's the case, then just hold up while I catch up. Now, also depending on how big of the beads you use will also determine how quickly you get it done. Because if you use beads like that, like if you use bugles, you'll be finished super fast because they're much longer. So that's one way that you can do that. If you do, size 15s, if they fit on a wire, you may take a little bit of a while for you to get your project done. But, sometimes it's not about how quickly you can make stuff. I have to remind myself about that because I get into my head about if I'm not like productive enough. So that's where, I like it's not about being super fast all the time. It is nice if you get into like a rhythm of it. Like I like to get into a rhythm. I call it the flow state. And then I'm just not even thinking about anything. I'm just kind of in the zone and working on my project. Now you may notice that every once in a while I'm doing micro adjustments and kind of flattening this out as I go. And what that is doing is I'm making sure that everything is kind of flat and not like one side high, one side low, one side high. And I'm going to keep going. All right. So one thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to find a new area of seed beads to tap so that I get a little bit of a different mix. So what else have y'all been up to? Are y'all doing anything fun? Are you working on any fun projects? Is there anything that you're doing that you'd like to share with the group? I know a lot of you do a lot of really incredible things. We try to highlight everybody on our through our social media, but sometimes we see stuff and sometimes we don't. Like oftentimes I don't know what happens, but I'll see stuff and I'll be like, did you see this, William? And he's like, no, I didn't see it. And we're in the same house and yet we end up seeing totally different content. So it is interesting how that works. One thing I will say is there's an article that just came out about some of the trials that Facebook has been involved with, Mark Zuckerberg. And he was talking about resetting people's friends and starting from zero. So, if you're a small business like we are, that's sometimes a less than good thing to hear because, for one, it's taken us years and years to get where we're at with our number count. And that you're talking about getting rid of it. And maybe, I can see the benefits of that because sometimes there's like spam and stuff like that. And, you know, um, but what I will say is that if it starts over, a lot of our people are not going to be able to see us anymore on Facebook. And Facebook is probably the place that we have the most interactions with people. I've been on Facebook for over 20 years. I started when I was in college because at that time it was only for college students. And they're like, hey, you should have a Facebook account because you should just have it. There's a new network. And I thought, who's going to want this? Because I was like, I guess it's a good way to stay in contact with your college people, but I got one anyways. And now there's like however many 20 billion people have it around the world. And so, anyways, it's a pretty important part of our business. I don't think we would be able to stay in business if we didn't have social media. Our town that we're in is a very small town. And even in Johnstown, which has a lot more people, it is one of those things that we rely on social media a lot for marketing. And that we wouldn't be able to do the same things that we do now because, it would just be a different kind of reality in the sense that we won't be able to reach as many people. So anyways, so they're talking about getting rid of it or starting over, starting everyone from scratch, not like, so it's good if you keep in touch with us via our newsletter. So if you go to our website, which is allegorygallery.com, and you go to that and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a little bar there that you can sign up to join our newsletter. Some of you may already be on it. Some of you may not want to be on it because, you know, sometimes it seems like, you know, we're selling stuff every day. We have to sell stuff every day because that's how we make a living. Some people are like, ugh. So we've been talking about possibly changing that up and making it a little bit more personal. So, and then, okay, so I'm getting to the point at the end of my project where it's harder to just wrap this in. That's where the pliers become really helpful because then I can pull that in there. And I also want to make sure that this, when you get to a curve, sometimes it slips. So you want to make sure that that's pulled all the way up. And that when you lock it in place, you lock it into the right place. Because if you let it slip and slide all the way to the bottom, you're going to have a great big gap on this side, and it's going to be real tight on that side. So if you want it to be even, then do that. If you don't really care if it's even or not, then don't worry about it. But if you want it to be even, then you're going to have to worry a little bit about that. So there you go. And then I'm going to wrap this maybe one time. So as I'm being mindful of my shape because as I manipulate the wire, sometimes it distorts it. Kimberly said I joined Facebook in 2009. Well, what year is it now? It's almost, what is it, 2025. So you've been on for a while. So a lot of the friendships and stuff. Here's the other thing. If they get rid of the friend thing, I wonder if they're going to get rid of the block thing. Because I've been pretty good about blocking people. And if they start us from scratch, then I'm going to have all these people come out the woodwork that work real hard to block for years. So I hope they don't get rid of that because then it's going to like unleash the beasts of people that I've been trying to exercise their ghosts out. So anyways, so I got probably one more row in me that I would feel comfortable about. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of some of the bigger beads in here, and then that way they will take up some of that room at the bottom. So a lot of size 6s. I'm gonna put mostly size 6s. And I'm gonna see how that looks, because if that looks like really Wonka Doodle, then I'm gonna not do it. But otherwise, I'm just gonna do that. All right. So I've got one bead too many, so I'm gonna take that bead off and then wrap it. Now this one I'm gonna wrap a little bit differently. So once I get to here, I'm going to go in between on this side. Normally we've been working on our project like this, and I've been going on the right. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this a little bit differently and we're going to have to go in between here and wrap it that way. And that's just the finishing edge of that. You don't have to do it like this. You can, if you're more comfortable doing it the other way, then you can do it the other way. But I just want this to be a little bit more even when it comes to that. All right. I don't know if that actually makes a difference, but in my mind it does. So I don't want my wires to cross, so I'm going to be mindful of that. And I'm using almost primarily my pliers to do this. And this is so that the wire doesn't get all kinked up. And then also so that the pliers are smaller than my fingertips, so it can get in there a lot easier than if I try to do this with my fingertips. You know, some people, I see them doing wire wrapping videos and they use their fingers for like everything. And, you know, if that's your jam, go on and do you. For me, I just know that I want my fingers to be as nice as possible because I do a lot of sculpting and I just don't like to have the bloody time. Some people don't mind the bloody time or they don't care or they don't realize. Okay, so here's flush cutters. One side's flat, one side has the indentation. I'm going to put the flush to flush and go right up next to it and trim it. And notice I held the end of the wire so I don't flick in my eyes and make the blood time. And then I'm going to go back over through here and I'm going to kind of flatten everything out and make sure that everything's sitting pretty where I want it to go. Now, if you wanted to, now this is why it's good to work hard in your wire beforehand, because if you work hard in your wire beforehand, you're not going to have to do as much of this manipulation at the end because it's already going to be sturdy. And it's not going to bend as much while you're working with it. So we made this. If you wanted to, you could go and add wire and then go all the way to the top. I kind of like it like this. Now it looks kind of like a basket. So it's like your little Easter basket. You could put all kinds of stuff coming up at the top of this. So here's this. You know, like that look. You can put a little bird coming out. So you can have all kinds of like festive time. I think that looks cute. Y'all like that? Or you think it looks like hot trash? Let's see if I can angle this light here. Now you can actually see it. So you can make it pop out. Stuff pop out the top. Or if you want it to be egg time, you just go all the way out. Cheryl says, very cute and easy. Dale says, I love it. Yeah, I think sometimes the easiest projects are some of the most festive. These would make really great earrings. Just add ear wire to the top. If you wanted to do this, you could also do this with memory wire. And basically you'd make this loop. It would cut it in a circle and then you just distort it. That is a little bit tricky and it's a little bit more precarious because it can actually cut you up pretty bad because it's steel. So you just have to be careful with that. And then you can make hoops. You just have to make sure that that part, if it goes through your earlobe, is really well cleaned and that you get rid of any of that kind of residue. Sometimes with that steel wire, to get it to pass through that the coiling process, what they do is they grease up the wire and they grease up the metal, and so sometimes it can leave a residue. So you just don't want that residue coming off on people's clothes or their flash. Dale says, did you make your frame? Yeah, so if you missed the beginning of the video, you're gonna have to rewind and watch that part, or watch it on the replay, because I show exactly how to do this. It's really easy. I use this is my pure pour toner as my mandrel to create the base shape, and then I squeezed it into submission to make this little egg or basket shape. Dale says, thank you. So that's this project. If you want to add flowers like this, one way that you can do that is if you take a head pin, and I can show you how to do that real fast if you're interested in that. So either you can wire this on before or afterwards, or when you've got this and you're making your strands across, one thing that you can do is you don't have to just use seed beads. you can create wire wrap dangles and then string those across. So for an example, maybe I'll make another one so that you can see it. I don't know if William, what his ETA is. He's probably almost done with his ceramic class. So maybe we'll do a smaller shape one. I don't know. But we go 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Put this off to the side. You getting a pre-tell, Dale, of how to do this. Now, if your circle is too big, because that one is a little bit jumbotron, you can always adjust the size of that by pulling on the ends, and that'll make it smaller. Conversely, if you let go, this will spring apart, and that will be a wider circle. We're gonna do this in like double time. So that, because a lot of y'all have already, if you watched the beginning of this video, then you saw me start this, so you may not want to see it again, but I'm going to do this like regular speed, and sometimes that's helpful to see that. Like when I learned how to knit, my teacher, she was showing me the way that she teaches people, and so her body was contorted, and so I was mirroring her actions, and I was like, this is really kind of painful. And she's like, it shouldn't be painful. And then I said, hey, how about you show me how you do it by yourself, like you're not teaching me. And so I was able to mirror my motions after what she was doing, and it was really helpful to see her just work and not be in teacher mode, because then I could mirror my body off of what she was doing. And you see how quickly this comes together. And for materials, if you use very little materials, if you have pliers already. Today I'm using size 20 gauge copper wire and 24 gauge brass wire. So that's that. And then, but what I am going to show you that's different this time is I'm going to work up some different things. I'm going to make some different pieces that I can use. Now, what I will need is a head pin. And you can make a coil at the end if that's your flavor. I don't necessarily love those. I like when other people do it, but in my own work, I'm kind of so I'm mindful of that. All right, so I've got let's see. I'm gonna get a little seed bead. I'm gonna get another little seed bead. And another little seed bead and another little seed bead. All right. So I'm going to start with the smallest of these seed beads. And I've got a little head pin. I'm going to put this plastic bead here. Now, I noticed that this plastic has a little bit of a mold flashing, which is where when the plastic is injected, it leaves a little spot. I'm going to place that inward, and nobody will ever know. So I've got it like this. I've strung this on. I've got my round nose pliers. Yep, I have round nose pliers. And I'm going to go fairly close to the base of this. I don't want this to have a lot of wiggle room. I'm going to bend that over like so. Insert this back in. And again, I'm working pretty low to this. This is a technique. The way I wire wrap is not how everybody wire wraps. And you have to have a gentle hand with this because if you squeeze really tight, you can ding up the top of your wire and create a weak spot. But I don't squeeze super hard, so it doesn't have a problem. See how that is like that? If you squeeze really hard, you're going to get a ding up here. And if it's got a little ding, it's not the end of the world. But if you like really squeeze, you're going to thin out the metal there. And then I'm going to wrap this. And it's kind of going to create almost like a bead cap. See how I'm doing this? And then I'm going to tuck this in a little bit. So that when I tuck this in on this end, that went on the top instead of the bottom. Let me unspool that just a smidge. And if your wire wrap job is not perfect, that's okay because nobody's ever going to see it. Okay, so you've got this. And so you've got your little wire wrapped angle. And if you want this to be the Easter egg shape that we had in this one, a little basket shape, all you do is you kind of push and create that kind of shape like that. I also talked about conditioning your mallet and work hardening this frame so that you get a little bit more, so that it work hardens the frame and it's less wavy gravy style. Because sometimes when the wire is not secure or if it's dead soft, it will start bending while you're doing this stuff at the bottom, and that can be frustrating. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to decide if you're going to do this technique, you have to decide what's the front and what's the back. It doesn't necessarily matter like a whole lot. Like at this point, it looks the same, so it doesn't really matter. But it is something that if you decide to do this, you'll want to know because we're going to pick a side so that this sticks out. This does not feel necessarily good again rubbing against your chest. So we're going to want that to stick outward. So again, I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to come down about 1.5 inches or so. I'm going to bend it over and make this little hook. And then I'm going to hook the fish. Let me see about this. Either way, it works. It's just it depends which way that you're more comfortable wire wrapping. Like I saw somebody, they were struggling for their life to wire wrap, and they were going opposite of how their hand works. So if that's the case, just change the direction of the wire, and you'll be much happier, and you won't have such of a pain in the butt to deal with. Now you want to make sure that coil is super tight because if your coil is not tight, it's going to be problematic because you can just pull it and it'll come loose. So I've got that wire started, and I'm going to go, and like I said, kind of shift the big beads off to the side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to string this up, seed bead, seed bead, seed bead, but I'm not going to go all the way across. What I am going to do is I'm going to find kind of like the middle spot, or wherever I want my flower to stick out of. And then I'm going to string on my wire wrapped dangle. And that's going to be so that is sticking out of the middle of the little basket, as opposed to off to the side. If you want it to be off to the side, you can do whatever you want in your life. And I'm going to support you. All right, so I take this, and I'm going to string this up. Now this stuff, it does get in the way, so you do have to be mindful of that. Because it does make your wire wrapping in the future a little bit more challenging. So if you're like, oh, I hate wire wrapping, then maybe don't add a bunch of stuff, because if you keep adding stuff, you're going to end up, having to have issues with that. Because what it's going to do is it's going to block the way. If you had a couple of flourishes, it's not the end of the world. You can wire them on after, like I said, but what I will say about that is that you can usually see the wire. So I can put on one more bead, and then I'll wire this side. All right. But one of the things of it being in the way, you can just push it off to the side like this. See how I'm doing? I'm pushing that little vintage lucite flower off to the side. But it does get in the way, so just be mindful of that, because it can be kind of frustrating sometimes if that's always constantly getting in the way. And then what happens is when this is filled in, this will fit like this. So you kind of have to, maybe if you use a smaller flower, that maybe look better. But see, it's like or it can be off to the side like that. You can go back in and add stuff after, but like I said, you'll see the wire. But that's not that's not always bad. All right, so that's how you add those flowers to the top if you wanted to. You can add other things. So if you wanted this to have like daggers on top and be sticky outy, you could have it like that and string those daggers in there, and then they would stick up. So like if you're gonna make like something like that's gonna have like a texture, you can do that. So there you go. So I'm gonna go over here, and I'm just gonna finish this up and just string up some stuff. And y'all can tell me about how your day was. What y'all been up to? Anything fun or interesting? William usually likes to ask what y'all ate for dinner. I think we're gonna have stir fry tonight. So the reason why I think we're gonna have stir fry tonight is because we've been growing our spring onions on the counter, and they've been growing really well. But one of the things I've noticed is that Tallulah goes on the counter, and she does not like stuff to be sitting in water. I do not know where that comes from. But sometimes I'll have my paintbrushes in the water, and she pulls the brushes out of the water, which is probably a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing, because usually there's like some residue in the brushes and they're not fully rinsed out, and then they get hard, and sometimes they get kind of like they're not flexible anymore. So then they become a texture tool. But anyway, so she's been sneaking on the counter at night and pulling them out, and they're not thriving anymore like they were a week ago. So, all right, I'm going to do this again. And wrap this. Now, if you are using long pieces of wire, kind of like I'm doing, sometimes it's good to put on your safety glasses. I know I'm not wearing them right now, but normally speaking, I would. And just because this little tip of the wire gets all kind of like haywire sometimes, quite literally. And, if you've got your face right up against stuff, you can actually poke your eye, and that's not going to be good for anybody, particularly not your eyeball hole. All right. Does anybody do any plans for Easter? I know some of y'all are the springtime. Do y'all have any springtime celebrations that you do? I think that sometimes they get together and they do like Easter egg hunt. We used to do stuff at the shop all the time, but we don't really do that. And I'm going to be out of town for some of this, so there's that. I know sometimes when I'm like doing the tutorials and stuff, people work along, so it's harder to type for folks when they're busy. Susie says no real plans. Um, Sometimes I like to make deviled eggs, even if we don't do anything. I always think about, oh, I love these deviled eggs, and I think about how I should make them all the time, but then I only usually make them this time of year. I don't know if we're gonna do it this year because the price of eggs is still a little bit high. I mean, if you want it, it's not. It's like a couple bucks more, and then I'm not gonna deprive myself over $2 or $3. But when you're used to paying 99 cents a dozen, then sometimes it's like, But at the same time, I'm also like, I like them deviled eggs, so. And then there's I don't know. Melinda says 0 plans. I plan to plant some flowers and zucchini after 420. Oh, good. We also need to get in get in our flower beds and plant some things. All right. So I'm pretty much doing exactly what I've done on the first one. But you can see how that lays a little bit different when you have more rows. It doesn't swing to the bottom as much. If you have other ones, so if you plan this out right, what you can do is you can put these ones underneath and put them on a wire wrapped angle, and it can help brace up your flowers so they stand up more as opposed to be some more floppy. So if you put that in there, that can help brace it up. And that could be as simple as stringing these up on in here or creating those wire wrap dangles and putting that in there, because this one does kind of flop a little bit. Susie says, had a couple friends over for a get together this evening. It was fun and we laughed. Now I'm cooking a pork chop. That sounds fun. Melinda says, I do have 420 plans. Well, that's also festive. And it says, when are you heading out for teaching? I am leaving. Let me see. I am leaving on the 25th of early morning of the 25th so that I get there by the afternoon in North Carolina at Penland. And then I'll be doing work study on that Saturday on the 26th. Hopefully I can get out of, hopefully we finish early enough that I can go down to Spruce Pine so I can do Fire on the Mountain. My friend Elizabeth Brim, she does, she helps organize that a little bit. And it should be a lot of fun. I wish I could go for the whole day, but I'm doing the work study, so I can't get out of that. And then classes start on the 18th or on the 27th. And then go till that Friday. And that ends, I think, in the morning time. So here's the conundrum is my powder coating class starts in the evening of Friday the 9th. And my friend Charlene asked if we could come like a day early so we could hang out on the 8th. So I don't know if I should come directly home and pack then, or if I should try to hang out with some people for a couple days and then drive down again. I may do that just because I'm looking at the calendar and there are a couple days that I'm not going to be, it's nice to be home. I miss my cats and William and stuff. So I may come back for that because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. But one of my friends, if I stay with them for 2 days, and then I have another friend who offered for me to come down and stay with her, and I could stay for 2 days, and then I could stay with Cheryl Ann for 2 days. Then it's not so bad. But then, I like to do laundry too. So I don't want to be like wearing the same clothes until it's like falling apart. And I don't actually know what our work study duties are. So I don't know if I'm picking weeds or if I'm washing dishes or doing what. So yeah. Cheryl says, staying home this year. Daughter has to finish up her thesis to submit next week. I'm going to do a local Lake Michigan beach cleanup for Earth Day on Saturday and maybe work on the gardens and do some cleaning on Sunday. That sounds really productive. So the powder coat workshop, if people are interested, starts on May 9th, and it's the evening of May 9th. It's the 10th all day and the 11th all day. And then the next day I'm driving to Memphis and I'll be gone for a week. So that's the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th that I'll be gone. And then I kind of have to bust a move because Crafting the Future, they have an event set up on May 24th in Pittsburgh. And I'm going to have to get my stuff together for that. I'm not going to do a great big elaborate display. I'm going to ask William to kind of pull some stuff while I'm gone. And I'll work on making some earrings and some different pendants and things while I'm away, or I might bring them to work on while I'm away and work in the evenings. And that's going to be on May 24th. That's going to be in Pittsburgh. I'll post more details about that soon so that if you're in the area, you can check that out. But that's May 24th. And then when I come back, I'm going to be going to, that's on May 24th. And then on May 30th through the June 1st is Snagit Touchstone. If you're interested in going to that, there's still spots available for that. That should be a really amazing weekend. It's at Touchstone. So SNAG, which is the Society of North American Goldsmiths, which is kind of a misnomer because it's not all goldsmiths. It's all different kind of contemporary jewelry. So you have people who work with like braided wigs and make jewelry out of that. And you have people who do chasing and repoussé and work in fine metals and gold. And you also have people who are blacksmiths and do all kinds of stuff. There's going to be a workshop there all weekend there, and that's the 30th, the 31st, and the June 1st. So we're going to be closed in the shop because William's going to that as well. We're going to be commuting back and forth, so to save money. So we're going to go in the morning and then drive back in the evening. But that is on May 30th through June 1st. So if you're in the area, then you can definitely try to get a ticket for that because tickets are still available. The other thing is I'm going to be teaching again. This is just coming together, but I think I'm going to be teaching contemporary craft, and I'm going to be doing a drawing on enamel class, and that's going to be June 7th, I believe. I don't know. I have to look at the dates, but it's coming up pretty soon. And then I'm going to be home for a little stretch. And then in July, I'm going to be going to Haystack, and I'm going to be going to, I'm going to be there from the 13th through the 25th of July. And then I'm driving directly down to North Carolina, and I'm going to be down at Pocosin for a week. So it seems like I'm going to be back to back, and then I have a little bit of time in between. I have about a week and a half or so, and then I'm going to be going to New Jersey and teaching New Jersey, hopefully. And then going into September, a couple weeks later, I'm going to be back at Touchstone, and we're going to be doing the Spark Retreat for BIPOC Metalsmiths. So basically, that's my schedule for the next summer. Hopefully, I'll get to see some of you all out in the world, out and about. We're kind of crunched for cash right now, so I'm not able to spend as much time like poking around like I usually do. Usually, I like to have a little bit more time to meander around. Sometimes I like to go, and I have different vendors all over the country, and I like to stop in and see them. I may still do that. It just depends on what we've got going on and how quickly I need to be back. Some of those timelines are a little tight. So that, is kind of nerve-wracking. But for the most part, I feel really kind of, I don't know, I feel good about the schedule. Hello, William.
Hello, everybody.
I was just going over my schedule.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a little bit tight on some of them.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
see that.
there's a day in between on some of them.
I know, the fire thing.
The one that I'm really worried about, and I'm not really worried about it, but I know it's going to be a long day, is leaving Maine and driving to North Carolina.
Where's that going?
I'm going from Haystack to Pocosin.
I haven't looked that far in the year, I think, yet.
And that is I have one day to get down there.
Oh, boy.
And that's going to be a 14-hour drive. And that's if I don't get stuck in traffic. And if I catch the right ferry.
Oh, boy.
So this is going to be a little bit hectic, but we'll make it work. All right. So we got people watching. Look what I made, William.
That's pretty. I like that.
A little Easter basket or egg.
Egg, Easter basket.
Hey, you got a bunny rabbit? Where's a bunny?
Okay. Let me just magic one up. I don't know.
He can't do it.
I can't do that.
I can do it. How about this little thing? People are like, what's he doing? Cute. So that's what we made. And then we talked about putting stuff sticking out of it. And that's what this is.
Nice. That's pretty.
So if you want this right now is kind of floppy. That's why you keep this real short, because if you put it real long, it's even more floppy. But if you brace it up with some head pins, wire wrap head pins with some beads underneath there, it'll help it stick up like this. It won't have erectile dysfunction. It'll be tall and proud. All right, so I'm gonna move over and let William take over. I hope you all enjoyed that. It's been fun hanging out for the past 2 hours. And we're going to start our jump show. Get ready. Here you go. I'll get my tools out the way. That way William doesn't get mad at me. And I got a little straggler here. How's your class?
Okay. I trimmed. I made some stuff. Didn't have any finished products yet.
It's kind of like when it rains, it pours. When you get like, it'll be fallow, and then all of a sudden he has like 6.
My next batch will be 30. It should be coming out. And then I have 5 that I trimmed today that'll be glazed probably next time or the time after.
Cheryl says, I'm making an egg now. Thanks for the tutorial.
Nice.
Good job. I always like it to see when you do that, because you're pretty good about doing the tutorials. Like when Jen used to do her Saturday morning tutorial, I could usually count on a couple folks to do it and to watch it.
Like right away.
I was like, y'all are like,
and then a few other folks would do it after.
On fire for it. And so I feel like we don't see you very regularly this summer, so enjoy when we can. This summer mostly I've been having a lot of headaches lately because of the weather. So yeah, in the summertime I'm not on as much because I do go away, but I hope people like when I show the little snippets from my classes that I go to, because I know not everybody has the ability to travel as much as I do, because I don't have like a regular job. I have, I'm self-employed. um, I have a little bit more flexibility where I can go to workshops and stuff. So I like to share the travel and adventure of going to these places, and hopefully people will get to go. I heard one of our friends, they just wrote me and they said that they had never thought about going to take a class before, but they had seen me going places and then they decided that they were going to go too. And that made me so happy because I want to encourage people to have the best experiences that they can, and to know that I was a part of their journey and encouraging them to get more education and more learning. That really means a lot to me. So hopefully other folks will be encouraged as well, and they'll seek out those opportunities however they may come. And yeah, so I'm going to hand it over to William, and he'll be behind the camera. You booby trap me.
I did not move anything. Oh,
There you go.
hello everyone. How is everybody today? Did you clean these lenses?
Before, but
There we go.
did it go?
Yeah.
Is it clean?
It's clean now.
It's not
We don't
smoky.
have the smoky glare coming in
It's
from.
not glare. It's like a romance scene.
Oh, okay. I
think
just
the beads are
de-romanticized it.
It's like in that Megan Sussex show when they put the foggy lens. I say it would be real nice to be able to see what she's working on.
For her flashbacks.
Yeah, her flashbacks. They put this like Vaseline on the
First,
lens.
they put a big frame around it, that makes it smaller,
And
and then they make it a little bit dreamy.
I don't mind it once I got used to it, but at first it bugged the heck out of me.
All right, let's see. What numbers are we doing today?
I don't know. What numbers are we doing? And where's the stuff?
Wherever you put it. Is this it? Yeah,
Is
this is it.
Who's ready?
Who's ready?
Not us.
No, not us.
Hey, do you have paper or no?
I do not.
Let me go
Magic up some paper. All right, let me find here. Let's find, have we ever done that? No, we'll do NU. NU, new. NU. Does he have? There's Instagram. There's Instagram. All righty. All righty. Ba-ba-ba. Okay. How's everyone doing? What's going on? Sure, you wrecked the mood. Oh no, I should just go, right? I'll let Andrew keep going. How's everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Did he have you in the lull state? Lulled, nice and calm, and then I come in, all the wildness, all my wild crazy talk time. Oh my. So I just got out of my pottery class and got back home. I had 5 vessels that I needed to trim, so I trimmed those. And trimming is when when things are a little bit hardened after you create them on the wheel, they harden up a little bit, and then you take layers off or add designs into them or whatever you want to do. I take weight off of my vessels that way. So trim stuff out, and then I did 5 of those, and then I made 3 more pieces tonight. Jessica says, hi, William. Hello, Jessica. Jessica, is Jessica new? Hello.
I think that's their other name. Or somebody else. I don't know.
Hello. Kimberly says, I need a nap. Me too, Kimberly. I woke up, well, first I had an allergic reaction last night. And, I don't
know what you got into.
I don't know.
What did you eat for lunch?
Jessica says, no, I just haven't been on in a while. Well, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. What did I have for lunch?
Because didn't you eat something for lunch with your mom? Oh, no, that was yesterday.
Yeah, this was just yesterday. No, I didn't have anything out of the ordinary yesterday. I don't know. Well, there was nothing new. We made spaghetti pasta yesterday. Sometimes I think paprika does it to me, but he didn't put any in that. So I don't know, but I got a giant swollen lip last night.
We were watching a show, and she also must have had an allergic reaction. Because her lip was swollen up too.
So it started last night, and then it got bigger throughout the night, and I woke up to a very large swollen lip still, and I stood up to get up out of bed, and I almost fell over. So whatever happened, I ended up getting very dizzy. Sometimes when I get those allergic reactions, whatever it does, it messes with my whole system. So I stumbled around for a little while.
Did you take a pill? Allergy pill?
I took multiples last night when I felt it coming on. I can feel my lips starting to do that when it does it usually. And
did you take too much of it?
No, because I usually take one of each, and that's what I did. So I got up today and I was super dizzy, and I was stumbling around a little bit, and I said, I can't leave the house like this because not good for driving. So I laid back down for a little bit, and when I finally got back up, I was better, not completely better, but I was better. and I got myself ready and then went and did some errands and made some phone calls and arranged some things. So, and then did some packing and shipping and then came back and went to my pottery class. I feel pretty good now, as long as I don't turn my head too fast. It seems to be doing okay. So that was my day today.
Am I gonna be a widow?
I don't know what it is, why I was suddenly dizzy, but I do know that when I have those major lip attacks, like I get hives quite a bit from my thyroid, whatever Hashimoto's. The doctors have said that my hives come from that, and they just come out of nowhere. And I get that fairly regularly. Like I wake up with hives pretty almost every other day, at least a little bit. But the lip thing, when that happens, it's a more severe reaction, and sometimes I do get a little bit different things happen. What's that? Oh, that needs to, that should have been in that little box that I took today. So yeah, that's that though. Let's see. Kimberly says, got my latest shipment, and oh my goodness, love. Oh, good. I packed up some pretty big boxes today for some people, so thank you all so much for the support. And have some more going out to y'all tomorrow. I'll drop those off in the post office. I dropped some off at the post office today.
If you've been waiting on the day at the beach ones, I wanted to put a little bit more, and so I haven't been going to the cottage because it's been cold.
Yeah, the cottage is very chilly.
Hey, did you have pellets in the stove?
Yep, I put them in today. So
because it's been below freezing at night.
Yeah,
and
I
so
know. It's been in the. And finally, I got the cottage up to about 64, I think, before I left today, in the one room. So it at least is warmer than it has been.
Because I don't work in the cold, y'all.
No, he does not like to work in the cold.
No.
No one likes to work in the cold. Well, maybe somebody does, but not us.
No.
Don't like to work in the heat either, though.
It doesn't get terribly hot there.
It can get pretty warm in the summer, but our air conditioners keep it pretty good.
I know, but
if we didn't have the air conditioners, there would be days I'm sure I would not want to be in there.
Yeah, but it's not like this winter time.
No.
Because we don't have good insulation there.
No.
So what did you pick a number?
Yes, NU.
NU.
We haven't used NU for new, even though they're not new. They're new to some of you. Who's out there? Who's out there today?
How many people are watching?
13 people are watching, which is good for a Wednesday.
It dropped because we were up at 18.
Well, Cheryl said that I wrecked the mood.
You didn't mention that.
No, I think we were talking about it because you're talking about the wreck something over there.
Oh, the booby trap?
Yeah, the booby trap.
How you sabotaged me?
Sabotaged you.
Oh, well,
no, I did not do that. I didn't do it.
So
all right.
We can both be like,
so I picked these.
Bedridden.
Right. I picked these things today. And there's some gemstones of various qualities, some nice higher end stuff, some regular stuff, and then there's some loose gemstones. I figured we'd take a look at some more loose gemstones. Cheryl's laughing. Right there, we're back up to 16 people. The mood has returned. Oh, Firefly Ghost Art was on Instagram for a little bit. It's our friend in Johnstown. So yeah, also the D-Stash, if Andrew didn't mention, the D-Stash ends tonight, claiming in the D-Stash group. So if you are in Andrew Thornton Project D-Stash and you've not made claims that you'd like to make, please make those claims by midnight tonight.
Did you accept everybody?
I think so.
There's a couple people that I didn't know.
There are 3 that are floating out there that are from before that I don't think they're people we know.
So we're pretty good about not letting.
Yeah, we have to know you and, have some kind of rapport, kind of know who you are, what you're doing. All right, let's get this show on the road, as they say. Let me move this down.
We're going to start with a bang.
We're going to start with a bang.
NU1. So if you'd like to claim things from this, if you don't know how, or you don't remember to purchase from this video, you're going to take down the lot number. These are going to be NU lots. So NU1, take that down, put it in the subject line of an email, address that email to info@allegorygallery.com. So NU1 in the subject line, address to info@allegorygallery.com, and hit send. That's how you claim. If you do send a claim, you are promising to take it if you get it. We will invoice you at the end of the night. If you want to, you can send a claim per item, which is usually the best way to do it. Or you can send a claim for everything you want at the end. That's kind of a way that you probably won't get everything, but that might be what you're planning. So you can do it either way. But whenever you do send an email, however you send an email, please send a new email every time. Don't reply to an old email to send a new email. All right. These are peridot, beautiful peridot, deep peridot, large faceted chunks, simple cuts, beautiful. They are $7 each. This strand was an expensive strand. So NU1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them available, as we put down here, 9 of them available. They are $7 a stone, high quality, beautiful peridot. Nice deep green color on those. And each of them only $7. This was a very expensive high-end strand originally. So if you like those.
You know what also?
What?
I don't know. I did put some umami.
I used that though too on all the tacos we made. I used like a little bit of each of it.
So I don't know if that's it.
But maybe it also, because I didn't use too much, maybe it was not enough to.
Something when you get stressed out.
Yeah, it could be. I did a lot of stressful things the other day. Could have just been from all that. Okay, so that's NU1.
How come you not
Oh,
show it?
I did show it. I just talked about it. I showed it. Where's the thing? Let me give you a sizing on one of them.
I don't know. Like you didn't even give the size on it.
These are approximately 21 by 16. You're usually pushing me to move on.
No, not tonight.
Not tonight.
All their letters so they don't get confused.
We've just sold 2 of these. Thank you so much. We've got 5 of them still available.
I made earrings with this.
I'm sorry, 7 of them.
They look good.
Yeah, Andrew made some earrings for the store, I think, with these. And they are nice. Look at that. Beautiful peridot. Gorgeous peridot.
They were set up. I was in Tucson and I was selling. And these ones were set up and they were underneath the light in the booth across the way. And I was hemming and hawing that whole weekend.
About getting this strand. Well, the nice thing, so we do these sometimes where we do individual gemstones like this for you. Instead of, because we could have sold this by the strand, but we know that not everyone can afford a really high-end strand like that. So sometimes when we're ready to part with them, we'll cut them apart and sell them by the stone for you all so that everybody can have a little bit of goodness in their stash. Because sometimes you want some high-end stuff, but you don't got that high-end budget. We rarely have that high-end budget. Sometimes we do.
Have a good show.
Yeah, but it's not always. And these are one of those kind of things, like, so 2 of them for $14, you make a pair of earrings and you easily should price those like 36, 38, somewhere in there at least.
That got really good with some of the check glass from the other night. This one.
Yeah, if you got any of the check glass, the $2 special check glass that we did, $2 a strand only. We did like these pinch beads. So we had a lot of different green. This was another one of the greens that we did last night. Not last night, the other night. But look Look how beautiful. Mix that check glass with some of that peridot. Extend a stay that way. Make it last longer. Make it. There's another. There's the drooks. Check those out. Beautiful. There you go. Oh, we just sold 2 more of those. So we sold 4. We have 5 of them still available. If you buy in pairs, with the loose gemstones, I do my best to pick out ones that are similar for you. But as you can see, like these are simple cut. There's no 2 that are exactly the same. I will do my best, but I can't always promise. So you will get whatever you buy. But if I see you buying in even numbers, then I do my best, because you know, we get it. We make stuff. Oh, fossilized coral.
I gave you a little bit of a deal on that.
Yeah, you did. These are usually $4 a stone. They're down to $3.50. Andrew's giving you a little bit of a deal. Beautiful fossilized coral. This has beautiful patterns in it. Lovely, lovely stones. And they are top drilled, by the way, through the top. So they're little dangles. I'll try and place them. Usually when I place these down, I try to place them how they would be strung. But look at the patterns in those from that coral. And obviously this is not new coral. This is very old coral.
It's
ancient coral.
It's been so old that it's turned to a rock.
Right. Let's see where the holes are on that one. So this one goes this way. And we've sold 1 of these, it looks like so far, NU2. And that goes through that way. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I love this. NU2, $3.50 each. 7 of them, well, 6 of them now available. And let me give you a size. Let me pick, this one looks like a middle size somewhere in there. This one is about 20 by 26. Let's say 20 by 26 millimeters. All right, NU2. These always, when we do these nights, my spreadsheet gets very big because every line item has a row. But we like doing, but we like doing these for you because it gives you, like I said, a way to grab things that you might not normally get. This is beautiful aquamarine, large chunks. If you bought this, the whole strand, you're spending a lot of money. You're spending a lot of money. Good quality, beautiful, chunky aquamarine. These are drilled lengthwise. So top to bottom on these, we go this way on each one. Position them there that way. These are $7 a bead. Only 4 of them available. We've just sold 1 of those. Thank you so much. Just to give you an idea, this one's kind of in the middle. This one is 21.5 by 28. 21.5 by 28 on that one there. NU3. $7 per aquamarine stone. Simple cut, faceted gorgeousness. NU3. 3 of them still available. 1 of them has sold. Thank you. Those are ones that make good pendants. They make delightful pendants.
Yeah, a lot of these things, we used to sell more in the store loose.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole table full of just loose gemstones.
Yep. And we're getting back to that. Some of that, bringing it back. Here in Ligonier, a lot of people like to buy strands. When we had the store in here, it kind of developed into people wanting to buy their own strands, because we got a lot of people who were, started being repeat customers and repeat class people. But beginners, a lot of times, they just want to pick 1 or 2 things. So we're kind of starting in Johnstown like that, and I've started bringing in more of these individual stones like this again. NU4, $6 each. 2 of these available. This stunning amethyst. Nice color on those. This one, for example, size-wise is about 21 by 28. 21 by 28 millimeters. Nice, big, chunky gesundheit. Nice grade amethyst. NU4, $6 each. 2 of them available.
We are gonna have some strands.
Yeah, Andrew's going through the loose stuff here, and then we're gonna get into some really nice strands for y'all. Got some really nice strands that I picked out. Some of them are from Andrew's where he was like, next time if it doesn't sell this time, I'm gonna keep it, and then I put it back in there. He's like, I may pull some. So this is rutilated quartz. Rutilated quartz, beautiful. This one has a lot of those golden rutiles in it. Rutiles. This one has fewer of them, but it's a clearer stone. You'll get one of them. You don't generally get to pick. If you make comments in your email, I will try again to get you what you want, but I can't guarantee it. So just know that. NU5, these are only $4 each with the golden rutiles, rutilated quartz, and both of those have just sold. Don't have to worry about picking and choosing on that one. Thank you so much.
Did people say what they're having for dinner?
I don't know, did they? That was before my time, I think. What did y'all have for dinner? Me too. What were we thinking about having for dinner?
Stir fry.
Do we have rice? Hope so.
Yeah.
Do we? Good. Couldn't remember if I got rice or not. These are beautiful.
That should always be in our home.
I know. Beautiful clear quartz. Whoop. Simple cut. Faceted. High grade quartz. These are gemmy. These are pretty. $3 each only. 4 of them available. This one is approximately 17.5 by 15.5 millimeters. Drilled top to bottom lengthwise. Look at those gemmy goodnesses. Those make super pretty earrings. Let's see here. Anna says, did I miss the rutilated quartz? Yes. All 4 of these have just sold. Thank you so much. Anna, you did miss it. Sorry. That was 6. Oh, now I think this is the lemon topaz. We had a whole strand of that sold yesterday. These are even bigger. These are the lemon topaz, giant chunks. And
London is blue.
Lemon, I said.
Oh, I think I said London.
No, lemon topaz.
I was like,
London, no, not London blue.
I was like, what have you been looking?
Lemon.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Lemon topaz, $14 each. We've sold 1 of these so far right quick. There are 3 of them still available. These are from a very expensive strand. We just had a strand yesterday we sold of this, and I forget, was it 86 or 60? I think it was 86 down to 68.
I think that's a very good price for what you get.
Yeah. These, we've just sold 2 more of these, so we've only got 1 of these left. Thank you so much.
One lonely friend.
One friend.
Nobody loves that one friend.
Oh no, these are about 31 millimeter by 26 on that one there. That's probably one of the biggest ones.
Gently weeping.
Gently weeping.
By itself.
By itself.
All my brothers and sisters got paid, but not me.
No one loves me.
I'm all alone.
Or maybe no one loves me. We'll see how they...
I'm gonna go dig a hole and eat some worms.
Oh no. All right, so NU, there's one of these still available, lemon topaz, not lemon quartz. It's not the cheaper, much cheaper lemon quartz. Oh, that one just sold. So all 4 of those have sold.
Adopted it. Gave it a home.
Gave it a home. Oh, I love these so much. These always make my hands smell like metal, though. Because it's pyrite. Look at these. How often do you see these beautiful square, well, corner drilled square cushion-like pyrites? You don't. You don't. Not usually. Look at the patterns in these. These are $6 each. NU8. I don't know if anyone out there loves pyrite, but I think it's such a pretty stone, especially when you get like kind of this matrix in with it, which you don't usually see nowadays as much. These are old vintage strands. So you're getting that really nice kind of quality of the difference between the metallic parts and then the kind of matrixy parts in there.
This is for me.
Which one? Oh, you're keeping that?
Yep.
Yep.
I think I'm joking.
He says mine. There you go. So these are pyrite NU8. We've sold one of these so far. We have 5 of them left. Thank you. $6 each. 35 millimeters by 30. Boy, that's perfect. 35.1 by 35.1.
There you go, little friend.
Oh, he did keep it. NU8. 6 of them. Well, 5 of them now available. $6 each.
I know a good deal when I started.
He's like, I know.
If I can't rebuy it for less,
well, a lot of these we could never buy for less, but if it's something you think you're going to use.
Yeah, but also because I like to have it.
That's true.
Why I have to be without?
He says, why do I have to be without?
Nah.
NU9. What are these ones? Is this?
Hold it up.
Is it the eagle eye?
Mm-hmm.
Eagle eye stone. These are $2.50 each. These are eagle eye. They always have that nice kind of, you can see the chatoyance in some of these. They're really pretty. There you get that flash in there. Very nice. And what a beautiful shape on these too.
We finished the most recent series of Silo.
Yeah, we did. I liked Silo. I did not like how this ended. I don't know if there's going to be another season.
Well, you know she lives.
Yeah.
She's wearing a firefighter suit.
But I don't know.
They cliffhanger that business for real.
Yeah, they did.
She must have been busy this season because she was hardly in it. But it was a little bit slower, I felt.
Mm-hmm. NU9, 15.5 millimeters by 25. These are eagle eye stones. It's a beautiful gray stone. Great. What's the word that I'm supposed to use instead of basic?
Neutral.
Great neutral. That's a good one.
Complementary stone.
I always call them basics because I think in clothing, like you have your basic black, your basic white. I used to dress people, so I was like, yeah, these are great basics to build upon. That's the idea. And so I always called things like this, these kind of more neutral colors, they're great basics to build upon. Well, but Andrew doesn't like me calling them basic.
Because nowadays basic means like you're in the phase.
Right.
You're a basic BITC.
You don't want to be that, right?
No. They're lovely. You're not basic.
You're not basic.
Bless your
Of course,
heart.
Nobody wanted you, so.
Go away, home.
Look at these citrine.
You know, the thing is that all it takes is one person to do something phenomenal with it, and then everybody wants it.
These citrine, they just look phenomenal just on their own.
I have seen some of the most homely ass stones. And, I mean, not the best looking stone. And they're like the lowest quality. I know how much it costs. Like, I've seen it. The vendors couldn't give this stuff away. And it took one designer to make something really spectacular, and then it blowed the heck up.
Right.
And then everybody wanted it.
This
and then the price quadrupled.
Yeah. This is NU10, $8 each. We've sold one of them so far. There are 5 of these still available. This is the citrine. We've just sold 2 more of those. Thank you so much. So there are 3 of them left. 3 of them still available in the citrine. Look at this. I love, you can see like the real spaces of yellow in amongst the clear. I love when it looks like this because you're getting the best of like a quartzy stone and that glimmer of yellow for the citrine. That one's got rainbows from the, there's that word again, inclusions. I want to say infractions. I'm like, that's not the right word. The inclusions. Let me give you a size on these two. This is generally, this is kind of middle ground, 23 by 36 and a half.
That's not shrinking violets. So that one is your proud.
Yeah, you're gonna be proud of that one, right?
And then also you can put it on your desk. Put it on the,
That's
put
a
it
good
in
just.
the sun
It's just a good display stone. It's a good for, yeah, your sun catcher stone.
What's that?
I don't know. Somebody's sending us an email. What stone am I selling, stone, sir?
Huh?
I don't know. It's a garnet. I don't know who that is. I don't know that name. Somebody's asking us questions. We can get back to them, but I don't know. I don't know if that's spam trying to
buy that from us, and they're trying to get into it.
I don't know. That Say Sode. I don't know who that is. Saisode. Is that somebody we know?
Did somebody say?
I think it's just spam.
Okay.
Or not spam, but maybe somebody asking questions. But I don't know if that's somebody to lure us into something because they're saying, sir. What's the stone, sir? And if they know us, usually people are like, hey, William. Hey, Andrew.
They could just be very polite.
They could be very polite. Ooh, ametrine? Ametrine. We know y'all like the ametrine.
This one is not as blingy with
citrine. There's little bits of like citrine throughout, but
it's not as technicolor.
No, as the one we had before.
If you got those little ones that I saw from my private, that
was
this extra. This one is not as clear either.
No, but these are nice larger stones.
I love these.
Ametrine. They're the simple cut. I love simple cut because I think they're just so organic to work with.
You know, I got these from.
Who?
I got this from Kia.
Kia.
She had that underneath her table, and she bought them, and she was gonna restring them and sell them. And I said, I want them, and she's like, I'm gonna sell them. And I was like, to me.
To me, these are 15-inch strands. $45 a strand, ametrine, simple cut. Let me give you a size on these. These are approximately 13 by 33. 13 by 33. Beautiful ametrine, simple cut, large nuggets. NU11, $45 a strand. 2 strands available. They were $50, which is I think the good price anyway. But Andrew knocked them down a little bit more tonight. NU11.
Also, people have questions. You know, I can't verify that I know the answer, but
And it says, love you, little lemon lemon. I know, those citrines are good, right? Is that the one?
But that's one that you can put some citrine with it, and it'll make it pop more.
Yeah, like if you got one of
It'll bring
these,
the yellow out.
one of these, and then you got some of that chunky citrine. Look at that together. Ooh, Nice.
Birds of a feather.
Birds of a feather.
I ended up putting Tallulah away.
What?
She is taking the onions out.
Oh, they were on the floor this morning when I...
She can't stand something me in water. She does that to my paintbrushes.
She's like, they're drowning, they're drowning.
I know. I wonder what her generational trauma is.
She can't handle the drowning things. Little
She can't take
Tallulah.
it.
No. Ooh, this is a nice strand.
But also, because I think when I put her with her, put her in the other room,
Boy, you priced this good.
she ended up chilling out too.
This is rutilated quartz. And
It's a little bit one of the ones that's a little bit more cloudy.
yeah, but it's got lots and lots of rutilation in there.
But the kind of nice thing about when it's a little bit cloudier is you see that gold a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I call this angel hair quartz.
And these are good, like if you're making earrings, they actually stand out instead of disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're kind of this color, instead of disappearing into somebody's hair or the background, you'll see them. And this is a really good price. This is nice rutilation in these. This is about a 15-inch strand, graduated from one end to the other. So you got the smaller on this end. They go from about 10, well, let's say 11 by 15 to the biggest one is 18 by 23.
And they just feel nice.
They are nice.
I don't know if y'all are into kind of like energy work, if you are or not. But they just feel good. Like they have a
good feeling about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're really pretty too. And there's a little bit of tourmalination in some of them too. You'll see the black spots. So you got a little bit of tourmalination, but they're mostly rutilated, which is the golden or angel hairs in there. Like, look at that. Look at that.
I guess the angels is all blonde headed.
That there. Okay. NU12, only $28 for the strand. One strand available.
There's one that we said this tonight. This one.
Oh, that I pulled that and I was like, I can't believe this one's still available.
Correct.
We're coming up to it. It's not here yet, y'all. It's a beautiful strand of aquamarine.
I'm warning them.
So we tried to do all different kinds of price points tonight. This is a amethyst.
Look how nice those pieces are.
They're really nice pieces. They're vintage strand, only $14. NU12 just sold. Thank you so much. These are these beautiful amethyst tumbled points. And they are really nice color.
You know, back on the day, they used to sell this. You buy this by the piece, and you would sell by it. I think it was $3 a stone.
Look at the quality. Look at the color.
How many is on this?
It's like glowing. Boy, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, about 39 or 40 if I counted right.
All right. So how many is that?
40 would be $120.
So how much is it?
$14.
Well, you're getting a deal, huh?
He's like, you're getting a deal, huh? Yeah, you could easily, even at a show, you could piece these out and just
even
sell them,
50 cents,
sell them to kids and people.
$1 a piece, and you still make
$1 a piece. You're more than doubling. You're like tripling your money.
What is wrong with those?
I know. We should just sell them. Never mind. NU13.
Every show.
Loose beads every show.
Cutting everything out. Everyone's so creative. I think some of those people on the thing, they just do make a mess to make a mess.
Yeah, they're not all real.
Like the one where she put the fireball in with that and then roasted the marshmallow as charcoal.
This is Amazonite, right?
Peruvian opal.
Oh, Peruvian opal. That's...
Which is the same thing as Amazonite, but it's like the gemmy part.
The gemmy part of the... Whoa, that one fell apart.
It just came off the string.
Yeah. So that one goes with it. This is the gemmy part of Amazonite. It's Peruvian opal. And these are little coins.
I kept some.
And this is one of the ones that Andrew kept some of the strands
from me,
just for him.
for my own particular use.
But these are, we have 4 of them here that he's letting go of. If you don't get them this time, I don't know that they will make it to any next show.
I know, because I can use it. Okay, here's a question. Does anybody know where that phrase comes from? When the character says, "This room is set aside for my own particular use."
I don't think I know where that is.
Well, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't, he says. So these are approximately about 9mm coins in Peruvian opal, NU14. We've sold one of these so far. They are $24 a strand, down from $30 a strand.
I think another one came up.
Oh, yep, just came up. So we're down to 2 of these now only. 2 of these available, NU14. Oh, they are so, look at how gemmy. Gemmy, gemmy, gemmy. These are vintage strands again. And not everyone, they're not like perfect little coins, as you can see. But
I don't want it to be.
no.
Then it looks like plastic.
Yep. Yeah, when they're this nice and they're all uniform, like that might be a super expensive strand.
But then it doesn't look like.
But then it doesn't look like
It
anything.
looks like
you may as well.
glass or plastic.
Right.
Or...
So these have character in them, and they are stunning quality. Really nice gemmy quality.
You can be bird of a feather with me.
Bird of a feather.
Did anybody guess where that line comes from?
Nobody has said anything.
I'll give you two. It involves somebody named Mr. Collins.
Mr. Collins. All right, everybody. Who likes prehnite? Who likes the gemmiest prehnite? Prehnite is such a pretty green. So we have these prehnite strands. They are already strung up. If you want to buy them as a necklace, as a gift for somebody at $36, that's a dang nice gift. They're on sterling, though. We sell them at this price because this price is what we consider the strand price. So if you do take them apart to use them as bead strands, these are sterling. You can see it's stamped 925 right there. The lobster and the chain are sterling, so keep them. Use them, reuse them, polish them up or don't.
Melt it, but don't.
Right? Don't let it go. This is beautiful prehnite. You don't see a lot of the black in this. This is just the gemmy green part of the prehnite. You don't see that very often.
It's like a cat.
Yeah.
Their eyes.
It is like a cat's eye.
But not like cat's
but not
eye.
like cat's eye stone.
but
like a real cat's eye. Like Tallulah has that green eye.
Her eyes are that color.
Mm-hmm.
Tallulah baby.
Tallulah baby. And these are graduated on the strand. So they start, let me give you they start here around 6.5 millimeters. And this one, for example, goes up to 12.5 millimeters.
Birdie's eyes used to be more orange. Now they're more green.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that pretty? NU15. And these strands, these are usually from this supplier. They're 16-inch strands without the chain. Yes, they're 16-inch gemstone strands without the chain. So they're about 16 to 18-inch necklaces if you want to wear them as that or give them as gifts. $36. It's a nice gift for somebody.
I would restring it.
Yeah, they're not strung up the best.
I mean, the one dude, he said he wore it every day, never took it off, and he went in the shower and swim in the ocean. And it lasted over a year before it busted.
Yeah. So they, give or take your mileage may be on those, but
if you wear it every once in a while, it'll probably last for life. Yeah. If you wear it every day and then you roll around in the dirt.
And if you're giving it as a gift, you don't know what people are going to do. They might like rolling around in the dirt, so you might want to restring it.
I was reminded, I was looking through my memories and this ring came up that I made. And I remember the one person, they ended up having to give it back to me to repair. And I was like, how did this happen? And they didn't say. And then I saw them post pictures of their daughter who they gave it to. And I zoomed in on the picture and I could see her playing lacrosse and she had it on. And I said, did this get hit with a lacrosse stick? And she said, yes. And I said, this is not for wearing in the outdoor sports for the children.
Right. Now this is marked orange chalcedony. Are those orange chalcedony?
That's only got this year.
Or is that red aventurine?
This is new stone. They had another name for it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's called like tangerine something.
Yeah, it's a pretty orange.
It's new to us this year.
And this is faceted shields, we'll call them.
They also had another name, and it was called like Jeffrey something. Jeffrey Calcite or something like that. And I was like, dude, what? Who are they making up this stuff now?
These are 6-inch strands. It's just a pretty shape. These are perfect for earrings. At $30, you would have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you have 5 pairs of earrings you can make and sell if you do selling. 15.7 millimeters by 11.5 approximately. And 2 strands available. $30 each. NU16. NU16. Oh, I love these. I know not everyone seems to like amethyst lately, but dream. I know it's supposed to be really good for dreams. But this stuff, these are beautiful. These are the ombre amethyst faceted rondelles. Look how beautiful those, so gemmy. Ombre, dark to light to dark to light. NU17, we priced them really good for y'all, $18 a strand only. These are 3.5 millimeter microfaceted rondelles. Look so pretty. NU17, $18 a strand, 7 strands available. I love amethyst. It's my birthstone, which helps. But I just think it's such a pretty purple. And I love these different shades of it. So you can pick the shade that goes with your design. All different shades, light to dark. NU17. Oh, and these strands are... This is a 13-inch strand. 13-inch strand, NU17. No one said what they had for dinner.
Huh?
No one's talking what they had for dinner. I don't know either. Oh, here's the one that Andrew told me specifically if it does not sell tonight, it is never being shown again. It's going to live with Andrew, and he even priced these really well. This is like, that's like a steal. This is aquamarine eggs. I'm going to just call them what they are. They look like eggs in all different shades of aquamarine. You've got some of the darker blues, some of the lighter blues, some of the mossy, almost green.
Wouldn't those be pretty in like a wired nest?
Yeah, they would.
Like they're going. What kind of bird will hatch from that?
Kimberly says, "Sorry, I made the tried and true hamburger skillet supper. Nice, nice.
I kind of am in the mood for that.
I know,
but it was too late.
It's too late for that. NU18.
I mean, I could probably make it.
Where are you gonna get that?
How much were
He
the,
says, don't doubt me.
the aquamarine before?
The individual ones,
The big one?
chunky, they were $7 each. Anna had a charcuterie plate of apple, peanut butter, cheese, salami, and crackers.
Sounds great.
That sounds really good.
Sometimes I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an adult Lunchable.
Okay, so this is a 16-inch strand,
Your
y'all.
own Lunchable.
Your own Lunchable. 13 millimeters by approximately 16 millimeter, little egg-shaped aquamarine. Beautiful quality. Vintage strand. One available. NU 18.
You know how many charcuterie boards we got for our wedding? We could probably make a table out
It's
of
like
it.
the thing. Cheryl says we picked up Chick-fil-A for dinner. NU 18. $36. One strand available. All right, I'm gonna hand that one to Andrew if it doesn't sell. He's like, I'm okay with that. Now this is some of the most beautiful petersite. For those of you,
You know, that's another one that I think, because people don't really know it that well.
yeah. Look at the flash, that in the petersite. And normally you see petersite has a lot of brown. This has a lot of nice blue in there. And a lot of that cat's eye flash like you see in tiger eye. But this is petersite. Faceted, I'm gonna call them faceted hay shoes because they're not really a rondelle. They look like a hand chiseled heishi, which I love this look. And these are luxurious strands. They were $110 each, $85. I think sometimes when the prices are like that on stones that don't have that gemmy look, even though these have that flash and that chatoyance to them, when they're not like glitzy and gemmy, people don't get it. But these are really,
even though it's rare.
Even though, yeah, this is a rare petersite right here.
You know, it's funny what people will assign value to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see stuff that's like the most basic in the derogatory way. Like basic stones. And just because of like who's selling it or how they're selling it, they jack the price up super high.
Yep.
And it goes like wildfire. And then you have ones that are more rare, more unusual, something that you're not going to see every day, and those ones will sit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hyperstein, that's another one.
That's a beautiful stone.
So beautiful, and people are like, I don't really like beautiful chatoras.
These are about 7 millimeters. That's about 7.7. This one is a little bit larger. These are about 7.7, almost 8 millimeters. So there's about a millimeter difference in these two strands. If you want one or the other, you can let us know. At that price point and with this few strands, I will let you pick if you want. Anna says, love Hyperstein. NU 19. Beautiful petersite. 2 of them available, $85 a strand. And that is a good price. That's a very good price for those.
Yeah.
Okay, where am I on? 19, 20. What are these ones? This is a jasper.
Rainforest jasper.
Rainforest jasper. Kimberly says, oh wow, those are amazing. Aren't they? You don't see petersite like that very well ever. I don't see petersite like that generally. Few and far between. Rainforest jasper rounds, Really nice quality, nice patterns on these, dense color. You get that beautiful green, multicolors of green, almost like a, almost heading toward like a blue, that minty green there. Beautiful little stones. These are rounds, and they are 6mm rounds, and these strands are 16-inch strands. 16-inch strands and 6mm rounds of the rainforest jasper. $14 only. 2 strands available. Okay. NU 21. Back to some individual stones. NU 21. These are $3 each only, Andrew. Citrine faceted disco balls. That's what they look like. They're a rondelle that's been microfaceted, and they are stunning. Citrine beads, $3 each, 7 of them available. NU 21. And let me get you a size reading on these. These are approximately, let me see, about 14 by 10. Say 14 by 10. Citrine faceted. And we've sold 2 of these so far, so we've got 5 of them still available. NU 21. These are particularly nice for $3 each. Juicy. Nice quality citrine. C22. Oh, I love these too, because these shapes, these wild shapes of the blue chalcedony, I just love, because you don't see stuff like this very often. So these are polished drops. They're top drilled in all different shapes. These little squiggly, they remind me of little squiggles. They are $3 a bead, 11 beads available. I'm putting them so the tops are at the top for y'all to see. And you don't get to pick again, but NU 22, $3 each, 11 of them available. Look at that druzy goodness in there. These are blue chalcedony. So when Mercury retrograde comes around, make yourself a necklace with one of these as a pendant. Keep that bad juju away. 20.
It's supposed to make your speech more eloquent.
Yeah, and keep you from technological breakdowns.
It's supposed to facilitate communication. So Mercury retrograde is communication goes haywire, where it usually goes like backwards, and like people are easy to misunderstand you. So if you wear this, it's supposed to make it so that people can understand you better.
NU 22, we've sold 2 of these so far, so we've got 9 of them still available. $3 each. NU 22. These are some of my, I love these. They're so fun. If I wore earrings, I'd make earrings out of these for myself.
And it's also supposed to make your thoughts be more clarified. So if you pair it with quartz is like an amplifier, so it would boost that. And if
Boost the signal.
If you mix it with black tourmaline is supposed to keep the bad energy away. It's a protection. So most black stones are for protection.
Anna says, I need that. I can't make myself understood.
And sometimes if you mix it with like carnelian is supposed to be for creativity. So if you want your ideas to flow better,
NU23 are these long pearls. They're a ringed long pearl. They're drilled through the center, top to bottom. Yeah, these are super cool. Only $2 each. Can you imagine the earrings you can make for $4? $4 for a pair of earrings like that.
I love them.
You're not gonna find that deal around anywhere else.
No.
NU23, $2 each. 8 of them available. These are approximately 7.5 millimeters by 21.5.
Do you want to go to 30 tonight or to 40?
Let's do 40 tonight. Cheryl's going to be right back, going to see if she can see the northern lights. Is it one of those nights?
Supposed to be. You can't see shit stuff. Yeah.
What can't you see here, Andrew?
Stuff.
Stuff. The stuff here. I didn't know it was supposed to be one of those nights. I didn't look on the way home to see it coming over the mountain. NU23, NU24. Beautiful lavender amethyst. Lavender amethyst in this interesting cut drop. These are $4 each. There are 3 of them available. Lavender amethyst. Light amethyst color. Some nice clarity in some portions of those. 16 millimeters by about 41. Stunning, stunning drops. Get those. That would go really well with that citrine we had earlier. The clear with the hints of yellow. This is clear with those hints of that lavender purple. NU24, $4 each. 3 available. Aren't they pretty? Love, love, love those. NU24. Where are we here? 20. Ooh. Fluorite. Green blue. Greeny blue fluorite. Look at that. Look at that color. Deep, beautiful fluorite color. 4 stones available, $6 each. In these simple cut, large, high quality fluorite stones. And these are about 20 millimeters by 23.2. NU25. Ooh, that's a beautiful handful right there. NU25, $6 each, 4 of them available. Come on. NU26. Ooh, did you get some of that big aquamarine earlier? We got some little gemmy stones for you. Gorgeous aquamarine. Again, that simple cut. Really nice quality. Again, only $3 each. 14 of these available. No luck on the Aurora, says Cheryl. Look
Did you
at
notice how
those.
they keep saying that that's happening more and more?
Yeah, like I've never heard of it before, like a year ago.
Happening down
here ever. And now it's like all the time. It's like every other week. These are approximately 13 by 13 on that one. So just set that there, 13 millimeters on that. Just so you can get an idea. NU26, $3 each only. These are great earring makers right here. Great little earring makers. NU26. We've just sold 3 of those so far. Thank you so much. There are 11 of them still available. If anyone would like more. NU26 aquamarine, gemmy aquamarine. NU27. Okay. Which ones are, what are these? These are those, I know we're trying to sell the whole batch before. Ruby zoazite. Ruby zoazite. Very pretty
It's
color.
a little bit more pale,
Yeah.
but still pretty.
Very pretty. Ruby zoazite, little chiclets, little rectangles. Super pretty. It's got beautiful blues and greens, light blues and greens in there with a pop of the pink here and there for the rubies. Just a very different, normally it's not this pale. And this was an expensive strand. This was a really expensive strand. Let's see, NU26, we just sold three more, so that's 6 of those total. So we've got what, 8 of those still available. And then this NU27, we've sold 3 so far. So we've got 8 of these still available. Ruby, zoazite, in this lovely light color, which is pretty rare. 13 millimeters by 18 millimeter little rectangles, little puffy rectangles. NU27. Thank you all so much for grabbing these. The ones you're grabbing, we appreciate it. Thank you all out there who have shared this broadcast. We appreciate you sharing so much. Kimberly says, reminds me of fuchsite. Never seen blue in zoazite.
The blue is kyanite usually.
Blue is kyanite in there?
But
All right. Kimberly says, really cool. NU28. So these, you may recognize some of these. These are the peach moonstone. We often have larger strands of these. We pulled one of them apart at one point to sell them individually because they are super nice, but the whole strands are expensive for you know, it's not for everyone. So these are beautiful peach moonstone. Look at the flashing on these. So lovely. Each one has great chatoyance in it. And they are $1.75 each only. They were $2 each. Andrew brought it down a little bit for you. But there are 12 of these available at $1.75 each. And these, they do vary in size. It's usually from a graduated strand. But this one, for example, is about 11 millimeters. 11 millimeters on that one. But just lovely quality. Peach moonstone. Again, selling these individually. Anna says, oh, I bought some of those moonstones. So pretty. Yeah, it's just, like I said, we do this so that, you know, people get a chance. You can't afford a whole strand or you don't want a whole strand, then you can just buy as many as you want, up to 12 in this case. NU28. 12 of them available. 11 that dropping them on the ground.
oh no.
I do too. They're such good quality stones. NU29. $1.50 each. What kind of
Jasper.
I know. I didn't know if you knew what kind. Jasper.
They call that I don't know, fancy jasper.
Kimberly, you know what kind of jasper this is?
Got the green veins.
But these are just beautiful shapes, these drops. And really, the patterns and color in this is so rich. We've got 16 of them here available, $1.50 each only. NU29, we've just sold 2 of these. Thank you so much. And these drops are approximately 20.5 millimeters by 10.5, and they are drilled through the center. They are not drilled through the top, down through the center. A lot of people prefer that. For your wrapping, it's a little bit easier sometimes. Some people are worried about like briolets and breaking the tops off. So these are drilled down through the center. Beautiful, gorgeous stones. Kimberly says, looks like moss agate. Can't think of a jasper with windows like that.
Sometimes it grows together.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like sometimes we get these like weirdo stones. Because usually agate is see-through. But then you have these great big swathes of places where not all of them have that clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually agate you can let some light in through all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these...
So sometimes when they cut it on the matrix, that's where it gets confusing.
But whatever they are, they're beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You can go with that.
Moss agate.
Moss agate. There we go.
On most of them, except for the 6 that are not.
The 6 that are not, right? That are jaspers. NU29, $1.50 each. We've sold 2 of those so far. Thank you so much. Oops, that's not it. It's a little tiny bag under here.
Do you have your calculator?
Yeah, it's You're welcome. These are lovely, lovely, lovely little abalone beads. Stunning little beads. Just sold 4 more of NU29. Thank you so much. These are the $1.50 each only, little abalone ovals. These are 12 millimeter, 12.3 by 19.5, so about 12 by 19.5. And these are drilled again widthwise, lengthwise, and 16 of them available. Really pretty ovals in the abalone shell. $1.50 each. This is where if you make earrings for shows, when we do shows like this with the individual beads, this is where you can get the good stuff for a little money and really make your money back on these. I think these are good, well priced. $1.50 each. Buy 2 of them for $3. Buy 2 of a little bit of everything. Make a lot of different pairs of earrings for your next show. Have a diverse assortment of things to purchase and not have invested too much. You don't have to buy the whole strand. NU30, $1.50 each. Try and give you breaks like that when we can. NU31. I don't even remember bringing this strand in. This is nice. This is ocean jasper, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the ocean jasper. Oh, just sold 2 more 29s. Thank you so much. Ocean jasper round coins.
Big one.
Big ones. big ones. Beautiful patterns. This is that good vintage ocean jasper. Andrew priced these down from $6 to only $4 each, which I think is a steal for the quality that you're getting in these and the size. Vintage ocean jasper, really nice colors in these, really beautiful patterns. And this size is, these are about 35 millimeter coins. So in inches, that is about 1 3/8. 1 3/8, and they are drilled through top to bottom this way, for example, in that one. NU31. Oh, we just sold some NU30s, 2 of those. Thank you so much. Oh. NU31. I love this one right there. Particularly nice. I'm not going to say what I think that looks like, but there you go. NU31. We've just sold so far 4 of these. Thank you so much. We've got 10 of them still available. 10 of them still ready to take home. Anybody want them? Anybody? Take me home. Super pretty. Okay. I just like looking at all the patterns. Sometimes I get hung up on looking at the patterns. I know. Kimberly says a petri dish. It says, Anna says, yep, moldy but beautiful. I know, it looks like mold to me. Or a petri dish, right? Exactly. But they're beautiful. Can't take that away from them. Okay, what's next? Whoop. I know. NU32. These are serpentine microfaceted strands in this limey green color. We had some serpentine the other night that was those serpentine shards, which were like that light minty green. This is that limey green. And these are microfaceted at 2.3 millimeters small. Serpentine, $10 a strand, 12 strands available. NU32. And it says, yep, please, a variety of patterns. I love those. Aren't these nice? And these are, I think, 13-inch strands. Yes, 13-inch strands. Microfaceted are usually around 13-inch strands. NU32. Super nice color in those. Great for a summer day. You making summer jewelry? Super good green for your summertime jewelry. NU32, only $10 a strand. Ooh, this is that nice, beautiful aquamarine. This is very gemmy, very clear, and very pale aquamarine. Super light blue, just that kiss of blue, but high grade, almost crystal clear aquamarine. These are faceted drops. Aren't those lovely? $65 a strand, down from $90. Andrew went wild. Down from $90 all the way down to $65 a strand. Beautiful gemstones. 7-inch strands. And let me get you a sizing on these. These are 5.1 by approximately 10 millimeters. So 5 by 10 millimeter, 2 strands available, $65 a strand for you only tonight. Kissed blue aquamarine faceted drops. Oh, okay. Your phone wasn't plugged in. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Great.
Yeah.
I made sure it was, but
It wasn't charging. Got the 20% warning.
okay.
33, 34, NU 34, $12 a strand, 2 strands available. These are beautiful peachy freshwater pearls. Beautiful peachy freshwater pearls. NU 34. Look at that color. That's like the flesh of a peach.
Don't eat.
Don't eat the beads, y'all. Do not eat the beads. But I know how tempting it can be. These are beautiful quality. These are 16-inch vintage strands of pearls, about 5, oh, close to 6. We'll say 6, 5.5 to 6 millimeter, flat-ish pearls. NU 34. $12 a strand, 2 strands available. NU 35. Are these amethyst? Or is that glass?
I think it's synthetic.
Synthetic amethyst. I was going to say.
They're still really nice.
They're really nice. I was the thing that threw me off is that price point. I was like, this is not, if these were these kind of gem grade amethyst, they would not be $12. But this is a synthetic amethyst. We'll go with that. In a faceted rondelle. NU 35. $12 for the strand. These are about 5.7, so about 6 millimeters. And this is a 13-inch strand. 13-inch strand. Let's see here. We sold NU 32. That's one of the strands of the serpentine. Thank you so much. NU 35. 1 strand available. Oh, I love these. These African white opal. What kind of price is that?
Don't worry about it.
Every time we put these up, we sell some of these, and Andrew just put the price way down. African white opal. $1.50 a bead. This was a very expensive strand. I remember this strand. We took this strand apart. It had a very expensive price. And it's like Andrew's liquidating tonight.
Don't worry about it.
He's like, don't worry about it, William. NU 36, 13 by 18. We just sold 4 of these. Thank you so much. At that price point, these should all go tonight. Because like I said, this was an expensive strand. We've sold these before much. Yeah. Anyway, they're beautiful. African white opal.
Don't fixate on it.
He's like, don't fixate on it. NU 36.
Just enjoy it.
I'll be surprised at that price point if a lot of these don't sell tonight. $1.50 each. I'm gonna move on. 36. Where are we going to?
50.
50. I was like, this seems like a lot.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
36. We just sold 4 more of those. That's 8 of them sold so far. Ooh, turquoise. Turquoise.
This is my private.
Andrew's private stash. He opened up some of his private stash to extend us from 40 to 50 lots.
Well, it was a weird number, and then I got to the number, and then I got to 40, but it was actually 41.
What?
So then I had to go to 50. So
Because I put 41 things in the bag.
no, some of the things you put weren't stone; they were polymer, and then one was.
Oh, I did have that, yeah.
And one was glass.
At first, I started picking random, and then I focused more on stuff. I forgot I even did that.
Wow.
So these are turquoise.
So there you go.
Natural. $4 each. 15 of them available. Let me give you a size on this one. For example, this is 18.5 by about 22. $4 each. NU 37. We've sold 7 of these so far. So what? That makes 8 of them still available. Did I do that math right? I think that quick mental math, which I'm not great at. 8 of them still available somewhere in there. Beautiful turquoise stones. $4 each only. That's a deal for that quality of turquoise. Ooh, very good stones. NU 37. Oh, I'm sorry. We've sold 3 of these. We sold 4 more of the 34. No, I think somebody mixed up. If you just sent NU 34, we only had 2 strands. Those were the pearls. You probably meant NU 37, like I thought. If you can send another email so I don't mess up my spreadsheet. These are NU 37. I don't like to call out who did it, but check your email and see if you accidentally sent 34. If you did mean 34, we've only got 2 strands of those pearls for $12 each. Oops, it's 39. It's 37. Oh. 38. Kimberly says, oops, that was me. I didn't want to call you out because I don't like to tell people what people are buying, but yes, please send the new one. There we go. Let me delete the old so that it doesn't trick me. All right. Ooh, look
Why
at
do light gray sweatpants always look so scuzzy?
I know.
Even after you just washed them, they always have a leg. Look like inappropriate.
Look at this private stock, Andrew Turquoise. We'll move on from the scuzzy sweatpants talk. Look at this piece of turquoise.
That's a Hubei.
Hubei turquoise. There's
by the gram.
19.4 grams from $40 down to 30. That's a super good deal. These were 40 millimeters by about 52. Probably 40 by 50 is what it meant to be. About 1.5 inches by 2 inches.
This is a beautiful piece.
Kimberly says, I appreciate that, but I don't mind. Call me out. Okay. Kimberly says, OMG gorgeousness.
Isn't that pretty?
And you can believe that this quality nowadays would not be that price.
Yeah, because it's being sold, I think what? $1.55 per gram. So there you go.
$1.55 a gram, 20 grams. That's like 30 some dollars.
Mm-hmm. See there?
See there? 30 bucks. 30 bucks.
Only 30.
NU $38.
If it doesn't sell, I'll take it back.
He's like, I will gladly take that back. I'm surprised he put that up. That's a really pretty piece, because you could do one of your multiple drilled through things with that. That'd be really pretty. Bezel set that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. NU38. Don't worry about it, William. I'm trying to talk him out of it. He's like, don't worry about it.
Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep moving. All right, that was 38. I'm running out of room. NU 39. This is that composite stone. Dyed composite stone.
It's fun.
It's fun, right?
I mean,
It doesn't all have to be serious.
It doesn't have to be super expensive.
Super expensive stones, or like these are just fun. $8. $8 corner drilled squares, fun composite stones. I love these. We had some purple ones like this before, and blue and green, all different colors. And here we have the red.
Didn't a bunch of those sell?
Yes, I don't think we have any of them anymore other than this one.
There you go.
Right, and that's a really good price. $8 for the strand, 19.2. It's about 19 millimeters per stone. And this is a 16-inch strand of those. Fun. I like them. I like those a lot. Aren't they nice? I think they're nice. What do y'all think of those? You like that kind of stuff? I like fun stuff like that. Because sometimes we get in our head about matching or high-end stuff, and when we design, we're supposed to be designing with super high-end stuff, and that's not what it's about. It's about having fun and exploring and experimenting. And I know some of you out there mix and match the high end and the lower end really, really well, and it comes out beautiful. We just sold some more NU 37s. Thank you so much. Those are the turquoise. How many of those have we sold so far? 4, 37, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the turquoise. So we have 6 of those available still left. NU40. NU40. $20. Check that out. Lapis. So you're getting the center. Oh, yeah, there's 3 stones here. So you get the 2 on the sides and the center pendant. And these are, I don't know where he found these. These are beautiful. They were $24 he had on them, taking them down to $20 for y'all. NU40. Particularly nice lapis. NU40. $20. Wow. That's a good deal. Let me give you a size. Let me see here. This big pendant is about 46.5 by 36. And these smaller ones are about 42 by about, I'm going to go with 20. NU40. Look at that set. NU41, you get these ones, and these ones. So that's a 6-piece set. Great earrings and a pendant, however you want to do that. In a jasper. NU41. Beautiful jaspers. 6-piece set. No, 5. What am I saying? 5-piece set. NU41. $20 only.
Isn't that pattern really pretty?
That is a really pretty
I
pattern.
think those have a bumblebee jasper, but not
I was
as
gonna say it looked like it, but it's not as,
Technicolor.
yeah. It's like a more natural bumblebee.
The yellow and gray usually bumblebee, but this is not. I don't really know my jasper. I just know it's jasper.
It's hard when they often change the names of jasper, and there's so many of them. I didn't even know you had these. I don't know where these are coming from.
Don't worry about it.
It just finds things, y'all. I've never seen these in this room before. NU42. Look how pretty those are. Is that a composite or is that a
I think it's the dyed Turritella agate.
dyed Turritella agate?
So those little fossils and stuff in it.
Yeah, because I was like, is that? Yeah, that's fun. That's really fun. Another 5-piece set. NU42.
Did the lapis one
$20. No, I was surprised. I said that's
no,
some
it straight
nice.
up has glitter in it.
I know it's like a glittery gold. It was a beautiful lapis. But so far, unless our email's behind.
You know, I think sometimes when they're in the plastic bags, it's hard.
I know I was gonna take them out, but I didn't know.
But I don't think you should.
Yeah, because they're kind of sealed up nice in there. NU42. I'm gonna show you all that lapis one more time because maybe you missed it. Because that's. Let's talk about how nice quality that is. We're gonna go back and take a look. Lapis is one of my favorite stones. Look at that.
And this is probably the lapis that's with the lapis that grows with azurite and what's the other one?
Malachite.
So sometimes when they grow together, they make that kind of banding like that.
Mm-hmm. But you got look at that. Look at that. Those sparkles. The gold in there.
Yeah. Hurry up, go to the next one.
Okay, okay.
Nobody wants to see it. If they want it, they'd have bought it.
All right, all right.
Maybe.
Okay. 43. NU43. Serpentine.
No.
No?
Can you guess that?
I tried.
With green garnet.
Those are green garnet for $20?
Yeah, well, whatever.
That's why I thought serpentine.
See the little brown parts?
Yes, there's one right there. Green garnet. Oh, we just sold NU40, that lapis.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Show them all again.
First he rushes me and then he's like, no, do it again.
My phone's almost dead, so...
No, it's charging now. I saw the thing pop up.
I was like, you have a time limit.
You have a time limit.
And it's not set by me.
Green garnet. NU43. Green garnet, $20 only.
For a set.
For the whole set.
Focal set.
Focal set. Earrings, pendants, whatever you want to do with it. It's all up to you.
Now, one of these, there is a little chip out of stone, but the bag was sealed, and there's no little chip rolling around. So that was from the manufacturer. This is the Aquaterra jasper.
Aquaterra.
But it obviously died.
Died, yeah. These are really pretty. NU44, $16 only for the whole set.
You see where I mean?
Yeah,
It's got a little plug out of it.
Yeah,
but that's why it's cheaper.
You can see it's been tumbled that way though. It's not like recently cracked off. It's been dyed over. That's the way the stone was. NU44, $16 per set. 2 of these sets available. Those are really pretty. I love that.
The sets?
I love the sets and I love this dyed, even though it's dyed, I love those colors.
I like that graduation. I think that's like where you can put like, you know, there's those like fibers and stuff. You stick that in between so it kind of stands out like a fan. And then that could be like a little lines made of gemstones and fibers.
So there's another dyed, but those beautiful purples. That would go really well with those amethysts we had earlier tonight and all those different shades.
Oh yeah, the graduated.
The graduated, the
Like
ombre amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
There
Oh,
it is.
there it is right there. Look at this. Did you miss NU17? There's NU17 if you missed that. Because these are... Look at those.
That looks good.
Doesn't that look good together? So NU17 are these strands. NU45 is that. Check them out together.
There's only one of the one though.
Yeah, there's only one of these. NU45.
And I'm giving you close out prices on those.
He's de-stashing these.
Mm-hmm.
Close out pricing on the sets. No, I don't know what I do with that bag. Thank you. Oh, NU45 just sold. Thank you so much. I'm just going to put things with things all night long.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this goes with this. This goes with that.
That's a fun game.
I'm gonna it is a fun game. We do like playing that game.
Yeah, because I like to see things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's hard to just picture it in your mind.
Yeah. These are really cool because these are mixed. So you get a little mix of things in each one. And I love this shape. And these are a little bit smaller. These are only $5 each.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, he's really giving you the closeout pricing on those. $5 each, 2 of them available. NU46. Mixed gemstone drops in the graduated sizing in the sets. Gorgeousness. NU46. 2 of them available. $5 each only. Ooh, wow. You dropped the price on that one too. This one.
That goes with a little itty bitty one.
Which itty bitties?
Rainforest Jasper.
Oh, the rounds. The 4 mm or 6 mm. Where were those? Here they are. Rainforest Jasper. I think $24 was our sale price last time. Andrew's starting from there instead of from... we've sold both of the 46s a few times, so somebody grab those. Thank you. This is NU20 and 47. So
when you say NU, it sounds like you're saying Enya.
Enya. So this is NU. These are the Rainforest Jasper coins. These have beautiful patterns. Look at that kind of transparency in the green or translucency in the green. It's like there's depth to these coins. There is depth in these coins. And that was $18. And then we had earlier on the show, in case you missed it, we had these rounds, which are now tangled up in themselves. Anyway.
1111.
1111. Look at those. These are
where your children are.
These are NU20, $14 each. 2 of them available. So NU47. When this is a $14 strand and this is an $18 strand.
I told you the one that was supposed to be on sale, and then it went even more sale.
Yeah, it did. It went sale, sale, sale.
So there you go.
NU47, deal of the night right there.
Maybe you don't like it. You don't like green or brown.
Or beautiful. And I said those are like dinosaur skin.
We've had that before, dinosaur bones.
Mm-hmm. So that's NU47.
It's been about 7 to 8 years, but
NU.
Zach bought them all up.
Hmm.
I mean, somebody bought them all up.
NU48.
Got the biggest bag in the
I was gonna
smallest
say
one.
that's like I gotta dump that way. Look at these, everybody.
Can you even see it against the blue? These are from my personal stash. These are kyanite. They're high-grade kyanite. They almost have a silver sheen to them.
These are $6 each drop.
So if you got some of them stones last week during the total request, those would go really well with that.
Mm-hmm. NU48 high-grade kyanite drops, top drilled. Can't be afraid of wrapping those ones.
You have to use really fine wire that's dead soft. No half hard, no hard. Unless you're like master technician, but my recommendation would not to be do that.
Yeah, these are so nice. High-end stones. They're differing in sizes. This one, for example, is 10.5 by about 5.5. NU48.
In the smaller bag?
Yes, please.
Okay.
NU49.
I'm going to make up a name for smoky quartz, and it's going to be like misty quartz or something.
Misty quartz.
Or something like communication to the ancients.
So just so you can see, there's the old tag for what this strand was way back. This is not a new tag, y'all. And this is some larger pieces of rutilated quartz.
It's really technically smoky quartz.
Technically rutilated smoky quartz.
But so gem.
$8 each.
And that wasn't a full strand. They had lots of spacers in between there.
Lots of spacers. Look at that. Look at that's like a starburst right there.
I shared something on my timeline about this thing called lattice opal or something, rainbow lattice something, or lattice sunstone. And this guy, he's written like 50 books about stuff, and he's like, that's not what that is. And so I trust him. And then he's like, this is what it actually looks like. And it kind of has some of that kind of.
Oh, yeah.
It looks almost like it's got basket woven in it.
There's a little bit of red in that one. Beautiful. NU49. 11 of them available. We've sold 2 of them so far. Thank you so much.
And then the next one, I don't know if you want to show who cut the stones, but these ones were cut by hand. These ones is coming out. And I used to see them at, because I used to do circuit shows for beads. And so he had a fanny pack, and he walk around all the time. And that's who, or I don't think they're still, I don't know if they're still alive, but that's who cut these. And they're turquoise. One at the bottom has, for the inclusions, you can see.
Those are beautiful.
I've had that in my stash for a long, long time.
Top drilled turquoise NU50. $30 each. Only 2 of them available. Look at that color. It's like golden in between the turquoise.
I'm going to keep this because I'm going to look, see if they're still alive.
See if they're still around. hand cut, hand done,
I think
lapidary
they used to
artist.
teach at William Holland. Maybe I'm making that up.
NU50. These are approximately 30 millimeters by 40 millimeters. Those are like almost right on.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, that means about 1.125 inches by about 1.5 inches.
All this stuff all had that same shape.
Oh,
Right?
yeah?
Uh-huh.
That was their thing.
Uh-huh. I was like, you must really like this shape.
NU50, $30 each. 2 of them available. And that, our friends, is the show.
We'll have a giveaway.
Oh, we're going to have a giveaway?
I have this focal Jasper.
Jasper Focal.
Since y'all like the Jasper so much. Isn't that pretty?
That is pretty. It's like a purpley. Somebody requested some of the more purple ocean jasper earlier. So that would go really well with those.
Isn't
So
that pretty?
what's the giveaway question? This you answer in the comments, y'all. And you don't have to send an email to answer this. First answer that comes across correctly in our timeline over here wins it. You do have to have something coming to you or have ordered tonight.
So, who's the main actress in Silo?
I've watched it all and I still don't know that.
She's also in The Greatest Showman, and she was also in The White Queen. Maybe White Queen. Maybe White Princess. White something royalty.
19. Let's see. First person that sends us the comment.
She's also in Dune. She played Jessica in Dune.
Anybody?
People Googling real hard.
I know, Googling real quick. Boy, anybody else allergies acting up?
Yes.
Because mine are clogging my nose. I sound so nasally. Rebecca Ferguson, says
Correct.
Anna. So Anna gets the pendant. Thank you so much for playing along, everybody.
Did you actually know, or did you have to look it up?
Kimberly says, love that pendant. Kimberly also answered it right after Anna. And then Melinda also answered it. Anna says, allergies all around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's happening fast and furious this year. I don't have the runny nose kind of thing. I just have this completely stuffed.
In case you missed it.
If you missed the first part of this show, Anna says, I know her, but not that series. If you missed the first part of the show, Andrew made this little basket, or it could be an egg if you kept it going. Easter basket, Easter egg. So if you missed that in the first part of this episode of our Allegory Gallery Live, check a rewatch and learn how to make this with Andrew.
It's easy. I made the second one. Y'all see how quick I made that second one?
Made that second one? Where's the second one?
It's not finished.
Here.
But
He started on this second one, showing you how to attach this flower.
like if you want sticky outy, like the flower basket.
Linda says, I'll have to check that show out. Yeah, Silo is about people living in a silo.
Mm-hmm. It's a little slow.
It's a little slow. It's
But also we watch it after we eat, and so
we kind of pass out as we watch it.
So it could be a terrible show. I don't know.
But yeah, it's about people after the world kind of has been gone through. They have to live in a silo, and all the politics and
I was like, just get along.
Just get along, y'all. You're all just stuck. 10,000 y'all stuck together
in a hole.
In a
Get
hole.
along.
Linda says, "I know, right? LOL." Yeah. After you eat and then watch TV, it could be anything at that point.
So good.
So good. I did think it was good. The pacing.
I liked her more than best, and then the second season she's in it the least.
Yeah.
And so it was all the extra side people, and some of them side people, they need to get a hobby. I was like, go knit, go crochet, get start beading.
Right? Go do some.
Make yourself useful.
Anna says, "LOL." The show, in a nutshell, epic, rough, and futuristic.
And like you need
that.
to do something,
Right?
instead of plotting how you gonna get in the secret hole. Go ahead and do a craft.
Yeah, but futuristic in like the worst possible futuristic.
Like, hey, how about spend time with your
Not
kids?
easy, right? They got a lot.
Instead of you got options. Go. How about grow some corn? Go downstairs and grow some corn. Instead, you like, oh, I'm gonna go and frame this person for this thing.
What I don't know is what a lot of those people did. There are 10,000 people, and I don't think there are 10,000 jobs in the silo. Like, so who didn't have to work?
Well, they need to work. They need to do something.
You need to do something.
Go
right?
braid your leg hair. Do something. This business where you're all like plotting and scheming so you get the inner sanctum access.
Yeah.
No.
Who cares?
Do something else.
I don't want to be in politics. I don't need all that.
So one of the people
Just let me live my silo life.
There's something. It's like go do something. It's like the other show Fallout. With how come we watching all these bunker shows? And then they have like the Warren people. Leave them people alone.
Right.
Let them alone, and let them do what they're gonna do, and just let them go.
Let them be. You be and let them be, and everybody bees, and everybody's good.
Who gotta go chew on somebody else? They got food. You don't have to chew.
They got enough. They got enough. Everybody's got enough. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the project with Andrew and the sales tonight. We tried to find some good gemstones for y'all.
Did y'all like it?
Hopefully you liked it. Did you like it? And tomorrow we'll be back with something else. Now remember, tomorrow's the last live of the week. Friday will be the creative make-along on Zoom.
What?
I know. So Friday from 7:30 to 9:30, creative make-along on Zoom.
Where did this week go?
I know. We'll be getting together. We sent out the link in the email the other night. I will also be posting the link in the Design Challenges group at some point tomorrow. All right. So make sure you join us there. It's fun to hang out and make with each other on Zoom. You just pick a project you need to work on or not. You know, you can just come and hang out, but pick a project you need to work on and come work on it with us and hang out and have fun. And we'll just chit chat and get to know each other. It's a great way to get to know each other kind of more in person than just avatars and screen names.
Sometimes some of the people I've never seen except for on the thing.
I know. That's the only time we see their face is on the creative make-along.
They have sometimes people post a picture of their cat and know all about what their cat looks like.
Yeah.
But if they needed help and they're like, help me, Andrew, I was like, who are you?
Who are you, stranger?
Stranger danger.
Kimberly says, great show and sale. Says, I am excited. Me too. I love the creative make-alongs. So we will see you on tomorrow at 7:30 and then the creative make-along on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We're going to go make some stir fry.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.